Let's get it. Let's get it, baby. Draft time. Draft time, baby. Let's go, man. I've been waiting for this. We've been waiting, chat. We are ready. Chat, we are so ready, man. Cannot be any more ready for today, man. Let me lower my volume on my phone. I'm not trying to get anything taken down or deleted. I cannot put the draft on the screen as badly as I want to. I just can't do it. I'm not getting my stream taken down. NFL's very strict with their content and how you use it and stuff, especially when the games are live.
Yes, you can. No, I can't, bro.
I can't. No, I can't. My stream will literally get taken down.
It's the same as putting a game.
It's the same as putting a game on the thing live. I'm pretty sure. Go to anybody else's stream right now and see if they have the thing up. And I will. Show the draft on stream? Bro, I literally can't, bro. I literally can't. If I see one other person right now doing it, then I will. But I'm not able to. I've looked into it. Yeah, see, nobody has it. You'll get your shit taken down. I'm not doing that. L stream? Fuck you. Yeah, see, go to anybody's stream, bro. Nobody has it on there. You can't. L stream? Fuck you. Huh. Wait, hold up. Can I... The NFL is live streaming this. Can I do it on here? Can I react to this? Let me see. Can I react to this, chat? Can we react to this? Hold up. Let me raise my headset. If my stream goes down, I'm gonna be pissed. But I didn't know it was... I guess this is live coverage. This technically isn't the draft, but it works. The Giants trade up for one. Shut up. Okay. Fuck it. We got this live coverage here. I don't think this is the exact draft. I think this is a different version of the draft. But hey, man, we can still see what's going on here. If there are any issues with the stream, let me know, please. If any audio is too loud or anything like that, please let me know. Let's see. What are they doing out here, bro? What are they doing out here? Just riding bicycles? Can you move your cam? Yeah, I can move it. Your cam? What do you want to move to, sir? Remove the chat. Do you guys want to see this chat or no? Do you guys care? Do you guys want to see this chat? Do you guys care about the chat?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
He's getting booed. Boom louder. Boom louder. Leave.
Okay, welcome.
Leave it up. Yeah, move
to
chat.
the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. People said that Green Bay was too small for this, with a population
I can't read it where it is.
of 107,000.
Alright, how's that?
But
good?
we have over 125,000 people here and still counting.
Take the chat out the way.
Obviously,
Put
Green
chat down
Bay
here.
may be small, but it's mighty.
I'll put chat down here.
Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight, and hope you have a great few days.
I can't. There we go. I'll have it like this.
Over the next 3 days, we
Okay,
will
I'm just
welcome
nervous
in
about my
the next
stream though, bro,
generation
'cause
of stars into the NFL
I think it should be
and
fine
bring
only
hope
because it's a
to every
YouTube.
NFL
It's a
team.
YouTube stream. I'm pretty much
And we may
reacting
have
to
a
it.
few surprises for you
Let me just
tonight.
put something in my description. Make sure
But
I'm
first,
safe. Reacting
let's
to
hear
it,
from some of your
stream
Packer
the
greats.
NFL.
Please welcome
You guys would be surprised, man, how
Clay
strict they are with this
Matthews,
shit.
Jordy Nelson, Mason Crosby, Amon Green, James Jones, and Packer superfan.
Yeah, if I get a warning or
Lane.
something, I'll take it down. That should be good. Because I think if I was... let me look up the actual draft on my phone.
I'm going to go off script here real quick, Roger, but I just got off the phone with the president, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass
I guess
a
they don't
message
care 'cause
along
it's not a game?
to all 32 NFL franchises.
I don't know.
So let me tell you what it reads here, all right?
Seriously, I think this is too loud, though.
It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck!
Bro, I think... Listen, I know people love trash on the Bears. But if they get actual depth here, if they go tackle or D-line,
I'm sorry, Roger,
they
I'm
will
sorry.
have help. I don't think they need D-line. But still, I would say get line. So it's a block for Caleb. I think that is best.
Okay, Green Bay. It's time to get the show started. Are you ready? The 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open.
Let's go, man.
The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
Let's go. All right, man. My predictions. I really think Cam Ward's the only guy here. I really think Cam Ward's the only guy here. There is a possibility.
Lance's best available, presented by Verizon.
No, I don't even want to say there's a possibility they go Shador. I'm like 99.99% sure it's Cam Ward, bro. Everybody is saying Cam Ward. At this point, I think it's just cemented, bro. I think it's Cam Ward. Everyone chat, go like the stream. Yes, sir. Go like the stream, please.
But I'm trying to balance my own personal
I wish I could
grades
make the volume
with how
louder, bro.
The league sees these guys, I think. And so that's what it is, and it's going to be. But as we get deeper in the draft, I think it'll come in handy. But you know, frankly, my opinion versus teams' opinions. I've talked to some teams who have it wildly different. Even the top 10 are wildly different.
By the way, and just to be clear here, because you mentioned Ashton Genty, I do think about a mock draft live when you were with us. Your comp was.
You guys think
one of
Ashton
the best
Genty goes
players that
first?
I've
There's
ever
no
seen
way.
Play with my own eyes and LaDainian Thomas.
There's no
Just
possible way.
for
That wouldn't even make
reference,
sense
and
for the
trust me, We'll talk
Titans.
more about Genty here coming up because it's not going to be too long before we.
That
hear
wouldn't even
his
make sense for the
call.
Titans.
But
Well, they got
where's
a quarterback,
Cam
Will
Zach
Levis.
for you?
So
That makes no
Cam in this
sense.
draft, I have him like the 7th or 8th best player in the draft. But what I would say about Cam is he is everything that you want in a position. Alpha, dog, competitor.
Yeah, I need to get Josh in here, bro.
The things that come to mind to me are tools, tenacity, toughness, all of those things. And when we look at the tape, you can see why the Tennessee Titans are maybe smitten by what he brings to the table. Big time arm talent. Powerful arm, he can drive it, he can spin it like no other, and then it's the strength in the pocket. It's being able to shed off tacklers.
You guys think
find a
anybody
way to
except Cam
continue
Ward
to
will
put
get
the
taken right
ball
now?
in the
What do you guys
sweet
think, man?
spot.
What do you guys
And
think?
then
What do you
it's
guys
the
think?
creativity. Every quarterback that we now see at the top of the charts has this ability to play in an improvisational fashion. Now, he can do too much, and you'll see some picks and all of those things. You got to coach that part out of him. But when it comes to the moxie, it comes to the confidence, it comes to holding guys accountable, there aren't many that would challenge their guys and rise to the occasion like Cam Ward.
Go for it. Well, I was just going to say, I mean, he's a gunslinger. It's funny. One of the guys that came to my mind when I was watching.
Bro, I didn't even know
positives
NFL was streaming this,
and
bro.
then the
They
not
think
so
about getting
positives
viewers
were
right now,
all
last minute
Brett
change?
Favre.
Impossible.
Because he's got an arm talent where you say, man, that's
Impossible,
like
bro.
Brett would have done. You know, that's a throw like Brett would have made.
Impossible.
And then you see him
Listen.
throw across the field into coverage. You say, ooh,
I
that's a
would
throw like
say
Brett would have
maybe not
So,
Cam Ward, but
I
there's
mean,
really
it's
no
some
other
of the
quarterback that's worth
positive and
taking at
negative. I
one.
know that you know there are some
Like
some
Shador,
similarities
obviously,
to Baker Mayfield in terms
We were
of
talking about him at one.
gunslinger
But I don't.
mentality, I think.
Nah.
But I
Shador
gotta be
at
honest
one,
with you,
I
there's some
wouldn't.
throws that there is nobody else in this draft draft that can make these
Who
three-level
was
type moves.
Yo Cooper? Who were
Nobody
they saying
else in
earlier in the
this
group
draft.
chat?
I don't think
That
other than
Cam Ward
this
and
is the one guy.
who's
And I
in that
also
picture
wanna
earlier,
shout
bro?
out the fact that, you know, I watched his last 2 years at
Trevor
Washington
Lawrence,
State.
Zach Wilson,
And I
Trey
liked him
Lance.
2 years ago,
Jesus,
and
that's a terrible
in
top three.
2023,
And the
I
cameraman comes.
thought,
What?
he
What if you're
didn't
with the
really
first
get a whole lot
pick?
better
Noah
in
Gill, and the
2023.
cameraman
Went to
comes in
Miami,
my
I thought,
room.
well, we'll keep an eye on this, 'cause I thought in
Hey man,
2022,
we're ready to
we
go,
could be
man.
looking at the
We're
first
ready
pick
to
of the
go. I'm
draft.
ready to
After
lead this team to
23, I thought,
victory.
nah, probably
I'm ready
not.
to go, man. Let's
He
go.
took a step up, Buck, in 24.
I'm
Yeah,
ready
he
to
took a
be
step
picked at
up.
any
And
moment.
look,
Bring
the
back
comparison
Daniel
that I would
Jones.
make, particularly
Hell
when you go to
no.
Tennessee, is very similar to Steve
Hell
McNair.
no,
When you
bro.
watch Steve McNair,
I'd rather never watch
Alcorn
football
State,
again.
there were a lot of people that were excited about the toughness and the talent.
Oh,
he
you
brought
would play
to
for the
table.
Titans?
In Cam Ward, you're getting a similar guy. This
I
is
mean, I
someone
wouldn't
who
want to,
loves
but end of the
the
day,
smoke.
man, I
When
gotta.
talk about an
You know what I mean?
alpha dog
I gotta be a
competitor,
selfless
he doesn't
player.
mind stirring it up a
I
little
gotta
bit
put.
with
I gotta
his
put
teammates
myself
and with
second.
the
Put the
opposition.
team first.
And the thing that does,
Bro, this
that's what
class
works
is
best in
is
Cam
so
Ward.
bad in
When you think about
2021.
Miami and what
Trevor
they did,
Lawrence,
Marcus
Zach
Cristobal
Wilson,
had a
Trey
team that
Lance,
was on
Kyle
the verge
Pitts,
of
and then
going to the
Jamar
playoffs.
Chase.
Now, they didn't get it
Jamar
done,
Chase
but
at 5.
this
You
dude
kidding me?
certainly took them up a level. And
Oh
when
my
you're looking
God.
at
The only good
franchise
picks out of this
quarterbacks,
class were
you want
Jamar
somebody that can
Chase and
level
Pat
up your
Surtain
team.
at 9.
Cam Ward can certainly level you up.
Can you guys speak to this? Because I think
Wow.
you're hitting on
Do you guys
something
think this
when you
class
look
will be a
at the tape
repeat of
from Washington
2021?
State. I could make an argument.
What do you guys
I
think,
watched
man?
him a
There's
ton
no
when he was
way.
playing with the Cougs, and I saw him a ton down in Miami. You mentioned some of the issues, some of those turnovers. He played with a remarkably more talented team with
Yes.
Mario Cristobal. You said it. I thought they were going to be a playoff team a season ago. That
do you guys
clearly
think,
didn't
man?
happen. There were some tight wins that they had there. How do you?
I don't
assess
know
when
why
you
they're
do the
taking so
evaluation
long.
of
Aren't they
an
taking
NFL
Cam
team?
Ward?
You say, you know what? I see some
Is
of the
Chase
talent,
Young
I
a
see some
bust?
mistakes, and I saw him improve with better players around him.
Somewhat. Give us a show. What do you want to see?
I mean,
Pause.
look, I saw that happen.
What do you mean
with,
give us a show?
And I'm not comparing the two, but I saw
What do you
it
want to
happen
see? You
with
want to see me
Pat Mahomes.
dancing?
I saw it happen with
You
Josh
might see
Allen.
me dancing a little
Josh
bit,
Allen,
depending who the
you know, we
Giants
all
take.
thought,
You
well,
might
this
see me
guy had
crashing out or
major
dancing.
accuracy
Your show
issues,
comes at
and
round
Josh
1,
Allen just,
pick
you know,
3.
doesn't throw on time. And there's
Nolan
a lot of
Why.
issues with Josh Allen on tape. But then when you go back and kind of read,
I've not selected first in 1978. Is that what it said? Goddamn.
He had some technical stuff that he needed to work on. But
Every
when
single pick you
the
get right, you
players
take a layer
around
of
him,
clothing off?
Lamar
Alright,
Jackson's another
buddy.
great example.
Alright,
in
buddy.
the
You're gonna have to
playoffs.
go on my
Once you
kick
get the
stream
right
for
guys
that.
around
Maybe
you,
my
I think it
OnlyFans
allows you to
stream.
unlock elements of your game that
Dude,
maybe
why are they
you just
taking
kind
so
of
long?
hidden
Just take
within
Cam
the
Ward,
tournament,
bro. Take
and
Cam
they
Ward,
can-
call it
they
a
can
day,
spring
bro.
forth. And I think that's something that
Take Cam
happened
Ward,
with
call it
him,
a day.
going from Incarnate Word to Washington State and then to a more talented Miami
Come
team.
on, is this
I think
behind?
as a scout,
Is
you
behind.
actually love to see him play.
What's
as
good,
an
Vidith?
underdog.
How you roll?
Because if he can play with lesser thans,
Is
then you're saying
behind. I'm
he's
seeing
going to be
tweets.
better
I'm seeing
when
tweets and
either the talent
sources.
is even or he has superior talent around him, and the fact that he bounced from Incarnate Word. to
There's no
Washington
source,
State
though.
to then make his
There's
way
no
to Miami,
source though. I'm
we got a
muting this
chance to
guy
see
though.
him
This guy's
take a step
this
up.
guy's an
And every
NFL
time he took a
insider,
step up,
and
his
he's
game
posting
improved.
shit. I'm turning
And to
off his
finish it off in
notifications,
Miami,
bro.
when
No,
you
I'm turning
started,
off his
but you do it
notifications,
the
bro.
way
This guy's
that
an
you
NFL
took those
insider
tight
posting
games,
shit,
I
bro.
would say those tight
Nah,
games were
bro.
actually good
What
for
the?
his
No, I
evaluation
hope that.
because you
There's
got
no
to
way,
see him
bro.
play under pressure
No
in
way.
the
One of my
how does he
inside sources
perform
just
when
ruined
it
the
matters
pick,
most?
bro. There's
And
no
a
way. It
lot of
has to
the
be cap.
NFL game comes
Has to
down
be
the
cap.
fourth
I had to
quarter. It
I had
comes
to
down
mute
how
him
you
really
handle
quickly.
two-minute
I get
situations
tweet
in the red
notifications
zone.
for like hella
He
accounts.
performed well in those situations.
I know both you guys watched the film on that game, but
Bro,
I
there's
do
no
remember
way.
North Cal, Bay Area, Miami against Cal.
Oh my god, I'm
This
getting more
close
Twitter.
to
No,
losing
no,
the
I'm
game.
turning off Twitter, bro.
Critical
I
throws
can't.
that
I
Cam
can't. I
made,
can't. I'm staying off
down
socials,
the
bro.
stretch to put them over
I'm
the top
staying
of
off
the
socials,
argument.
bro. Any
There's no one
notification,
that
yo,
game.
anybody that texts you right now, yo, I'm
Draft
turning on Do
room
Not
for the
Disturb.
Tennessee Titans
Anybody that
was
texts you
number
right
one
now, you will
overall pick. I
not
wouldn't
be
say
seen. I'm
essentially
sorry.
they know the
I'm
direction
turning on Do Not
they're
Disturb. I
going
can't
to
do it.
go
I can't
with
do it.
For
This is
offensive
probably the
players,
most I've ever been
Cam
personally
Ward
invested into a
is
draft in
going
like a
to
couple
the
years.
selection, high fives,
Nah,
the
bro,
hugs,
I
the
can't,
phone
bro.
calls, Cam certainly being on
What
the
are they
other
doing,
side.
bro? Why are you taking up the whole
What
shot
the
clock?
journey
Why are you taking up
is,
the whole 10
and it
minutes,
has
man?
been
Come
for
on,
this
make your
quarterback
pick.
going from the FCS level
Make your
to
pick,
a
bro.
Power 4
No
conference Offensive
turn off your phone? Yeah,
Offensive
I know.
Player of the Year as we take you to Green Bay officially for the pick.
Nobody texting your ass? Yeah, alright, alright. Hey, 10 people in the chat, man. If you guys haven't already, man, drop a like on the video, on the stream, man. Helps out a lot, trust me. It does. Appreciate you guys, man. Here we go.
Come on. With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans
There's
select
only one choice here.
Cameron Ward.
Yep, knew it.
quarterback, Miami.
Knew it. Knew it. See, the source, that's literally what they said, but I didn't want to act like it was, so I tried to act like something crazy happened. But yeah, man. He posted Titans to Cam Ward like 2-3 minutes ago. And I was like, bro, why did you post this? But honestly, yeah, this is what we expected.
because they need one. They
I
need
think this is a good
quarterback.
pick. You need a
cannot
quarterback right here.
compete in the
Obviously,
AFC
it is
without a
nice to have
quarterback.
other positions
You
and
mentioned
flashy
last week
players,
some of the quarterbacks that are already in
and
the
just
AFC.
skill all
Patrick
around.
Mahomes, Lamar
But
Jackson,
you
Josh
need Cam
Allen.
Ward.
I mean,
This
go down the
you
list.
need a
Justin
quarterback.
Herbert,
This is a
Joe
no-brainer
Burrow,
right here.
Joe
If I'm the
Burrow.
dog, if I'm
Man, so many
why did I say
quarterbacks.
Dolphins? If I'm the
You
fucking
don't have a
Titans,
chance.
this is
You
really
don't
just a
have quarterback
no-brainer.
that can really take their game up a notch, and even in the division, C.J. Stroud. So Cam Ward gives them a chance to close the gap because he has the kind of talent
draft
that
day
can compete with those
surprise.
guys in the shootout.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing about Cam Ward is I think it's getting the right mentality in the building as well. This is their third quarterback in the last 4 years.
I
They went
see.
with the third-round pick with Malik Willis, but that wasn't really starting
come on, man.
quarterback.
Come on,
They drafted
Browns.
him and they wanted to see what happened. They grabbed Will Levis in the second round. Not fully committed, but, yeah, kind of. Let's see what happens.
Okay,
with
he
the-
kind of has
this is
aura, bro.
fully
I'm not gonna
committed.
lie. Cam Ward
First
kind of
pick,
has aura.
First round.
Why the
all-in.
Jags trade
Some of
up?
the same
Why they, bro?
qualities
Stop,
that
stop,
go
stop!
with
Don't
the Jags,
stop
but I think
saying
the
anything. Stop saying
mentality
anything.
and the
Stop saying
maturity
anything.
of game and play.
Stop saying
It's
anything.
5
Stop,
years of
stop,
football
stop, stop,
under
stop.
his belt. It matters. 2 years, it's tough to.
Are you talking about my
NFL
stream?
game. 3 years is still.
How long are
really
their
hard.
contracts?
5
It's
years,
a rookie
I think
contract, so
really
it's
gonna
only
benefit him.
I
couple
love your point
seasons.
there because we saw it with Bo
Trade
Nix
predictions?
a year ago.
I
All
don't know,
that
man.
playing
Is that in the stream you're
experience
watching?
and
Really?
a huge benefit from the Denver Broncos perspective. Now, the last couple days,
Wait, it
we
said
see
Jaguars
trade
at 2?
first round. We weren't sure whether or not that was going to happen. Today, there was plenty of buzz. If you
Wait,
were watching
what
our
the
coverage
fuck? Are
on
Jaguars
NFL
about to
media
take Travis
coverage,
Hunter?
our insider Ian Rappaport
Hold up.
gave us a
What
list
the
of
fuck?
potential moves.
Do you know how
that
much
could
Cam
go
Ward is
down.
getting, like,
Well, it
money-wise?
turns out we do have a trade
I
action
don't know, bro.
presented
What's the
by
average rookie contract?
Cardis.
He probably already has hella money from like NIL deals
Cleveland
and
Browns no
just
longer
stuff.
picking here.
Gotta be
Making
Abdul
room
Carter,
for
right?
flop. Now you're the Jags, so while you're part of that radio
I would say
broadcast
Browns
team,
either take Abdul Carter or
Browns
Travis
will
Hunter.
receive
Browns
the
and
fifth
Jaguars
overall
trade
pick
5th overall
swap. The
pick.
Jags, who will now officially be
Jaguars
on the
receive
clock,
2nd
lost a
overall
bit
pick?
more
What?
from the 200th in exchange. Cleveland once again.
Bro, Jaguars are about to
picks
take
for the
Travis
first
Hunter.
over that first selection, 5th.
Jaguars about to take Travis
2
Hunter.
to 5, 36th overall, so they pick up
My
a
dad's
second
calling me.
rounder and a 4th rounder, and check that
Hello?
out. A first rounder in 20.
You know, what's
I don't
sad,
know, we'll
Spike,
see.
is that we don't. If we only had
Jaguars
somebody
might
who
take
worked
him.
with the Bucks, who could speak to. I mean, with the Jags. who could
Jaguars
speak to
Genty?
what
I
the
don't know.
Jags might be thinking here as they move from
They
5
might take
to 2.
Carter.
If only there were someone.
He was
in the
quiet.
Yeah,
very
honestly,
room
anybody's
who was
open. What the
on
hell?
Telephone doing a hit before we
Yeah.
came on the air. Who could speak with this?
I don't
I
know.
mean, look,
Yeah.
I can't yell
I
it
don't
out.
know. We'll see.
Duval is excited because the person that they're going to take is certainly going to be a game changer. You don't move up to number 2 unless you're
Yeah,
taking
what-
someone
what are
who
the
can be
Browns
a gold
doing?
jacket type. I have a premonition on who it's going to be, but I just got to
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
look at it
we'll
again.
wait. And once again, the
All
Jags
right,
on
now
the
I'll call
clock
you back, I'll
because
call
of
you
this
back.
trade. I watched Ian Rappaport on television.
Yo, what are the Browns doing,
talk
bro?
About the fact that the Jags
Can you turn up
would
audio?
potentially
Yeah,
be
yeah, I got you, I got you, I
that
got
They
you.
wanted to show
Is that too
hey,
loud?
like, we're not that far
Is
off.
that
It
too
didn't
loud?
feel like that sometimes
5 big
watching
booms?
them
Bro,
a
what are the-
season
what are the
ago.
Browns
I
doing,
can't
bro?
help but think that the speculation around the Browns taking Travis Hunter might actually make some sense
Okay, so
here. Although
what-
I also
what
saw
was
some
it?
mocks with
Okay, hold on,
Genty
let me
being
look at
selected,
this,
but that
bro.
wasn't at the 2nd overall.
Browns and
pick.
Jaguars trade. Browns got the 5th
I'm trying to
overall
get
pick,
it.
the
You got
36th
to write it
overall
later.
pick,
You just,
the
we just had
4th
him in the
round
wrong
pick, and the
uniform.
2026
And then we
first
can
round
put
pick.
Probably Travis
Just for the-
Hunter
bro.
in a teal uniform. And the reason why, look,
So
we
the
talked about
Jaguars
in this
traded
draft,
back
maybe
3
5
spots from the
blue chip
2nd to the
players. And
5th,
some would say that Travis
and they
Hunter
got
was
a
the
first round
number
pick
1
out of
player
it
on
next
the board.
year?
You
Bro,
heard James
what are the
Gladstone, Liam Cohen told
What?
me so. They talked about having someone
Jaguars?
with
What are you guys
intangible
doing?
qualities.
They really
But
trading
Lance
up
will
that-
tell you,
bro.
When you dig into Travis Hunter's
Jaguars
background,
traded 2
look,
first
this
round picks
dude
for Travis
loves
Hunter, bro. They
ball,
might take
he loves
Abdul Carter,
fishing,
bro.
And that's it.
Maybe
So
they
he's gonna
take
be locked
Genty.
in and focused. So
You think
to
they gotta
me,
take
it
Genty?
makes a lot of sense.
Fuck,
And
maybe Rayon.
two of the
Maybe.
biggest needs that the Jags had, they needed a number 2 receiver and they needed a top pick.
Browns receive
Well, you get a 2 for 1.
5th
Who doesn't
overall
love
pick,
that? Who doesn't
Jaguars-
love when you
oh
can
my
go to the store and
God.
get a little 2 for 1 discount?
So
You know, this
Jaguars
is
got
really,
the 2nd,
what
the
a
104th
bold
and the
move
4th,
by the
and the
Jacksonville
200th overall
Jaguars
and the
to pull
6th.
this off because they're going to
And
get a
they
guy
gave up a first
who,
overall
as Bucky
pick-
just
first
mentioned,
round
those two
pick
positions.
next
he's,
year.
He's my top wide
Just to
receiver.
trade up like 3
and he's
spots.
my
It's
top
crazy.
cornerback. So wherever you want to play
Think
him, he's going to
Sanders
be
is
my
going
top
boom?
player at
There's
that
no
position.
way.
But I think
Lawrence
what
to
it
the
also
Giants for 3 and getting
signifies
Hunter?
is that that
What the
there's
hell?
a new general manager in town. There's a new vision in town in terms of, you know,
The
head
Jaguars have
coach
kind of
and-
been booming
and
themselves.
general
Tight end.
manager. And
Evan Ingram is
they
no
really
longer
wanted
there.
to take a
Christian
swing right
Kirk
off the bat.
is no
They
longer
said,
there.
"This is our board.
So
Let's
I
go
would
get
say
the guy
they-
that's
I
at
would
the
say
top
this is
of our
them to take
board."
Travis
And I give
Hunter,
them a lot
right?
of credit for wanting to go get the guy that's at the top of their board. There's been a lot of talk about Ashton Genty. Teams want to come up to get Ashton Genty. Look, these are two elite players in this draft, and I think teams are basically saying, We want the best of the best.
Maybe Browns traded back because they want
a couple weeks
Shador.
ago on Mock Draft Live, I had asked you, hey, is Hunter, you said the same exact thing. He's my top wide receiver, he's my top corner. I said, does he play both ways? You thought that was the case. We thought it might be in a Cleveland uniform. Does that perception change knowing the staff and how they might want to utilize
Are they
him?
not on
knowing
the
kind of
clock?
that
Why is the
personnel
time
already?
not
I
showing?
don't know, but how are they going to use him?
Well, look, I would think that they see him as a wide receiver who also can play corner. They were looking for someone with the intangible qualities that can come in there and upgrade the team. And when you
These
look at
guys
Trevor
not-
Lawrence and when he has played at his best, he's had what we call ball catchers, guys who have elite ball skills. But when
Genty
you look at
bad
Travis
pick
Hunter,
here
there
if
are
they do.
few
You think
that
so?
can catch the ball like him. On offense or
think Genty's a
defense,
bad pick?
he is a game changer. He gives them
I take
not
Trav,
only the
really?
playmaker, but he gives them the pop. Everyone in Duval is going to be excited about.
I mean, they
what
do
he
need
brings
some
to the
kind
table.
of
A lot of
receiving
pizzazz that
weapon.
comes with his game.
Hold on,
gonna
only
be
reason I'm not going to go
fascinating
full
here
screen is
because
because I don't want my
Giants
stream to
have the
get
third
clapped.
overall
I'm going to
pick.
keep this here
Speculation
so
about
it's
them maybe
visible
even
that this is on
trading
YouTube.
Down. We've already seen one trade.
Sorry,
That
guys.
doesn't necessarily matter if
I mean,
it's
I don't
one,
know,
two,
man.
that we saw it, which was Cam Ward and Travis Hunter. But does that put the onus on the other team to try to get aggressive to move up? We will find out. But first things first, who are the Jags taking?
Come on, bro. Let's just hear it. Let's just hear it already. Come on, let's just hear it. Oh, the time wasn't on the thing because it was locked in already, chat. Shador? I don't
While
think
we
so.
are here tonight,
Obviously
celebrate
not.
the
Trevor Lawrence
32
one of the
young
highest paid
men
quarterbacks in the
entering the
NFL. There's no
NFL.
way.
I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The
Has to
Walter
be
Payton
Travis.
NFL Man of the Year Award,
Right?
presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and
Has to be
compassion,
Travis.
both on and off the field and in the community.
Yo, what's good,
Tonight,
Jared?
we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
Yo, Chad, last minute predictions. Is it Travis? Is it Carter? Is it Genty? Hi, boss. Not a product.
First
I'm
off,
gonna say it's Travis Hunter, bro. I'm gonna say it's Travis Hunter. Duval. I'm gonna say Travis Hunter, chat. And we are up next.
I want to say
We
thank
are
you
up next.
to the commissioner. Thank you to the Peyton
I'm gonna say
family
it's
and
Eli
NFL
Apple. Oh
nationwide.
God.
And
I'm
also,
gonna say it's
too,
Travis Hunter.
Tonight, I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close
All
to
I
their
know
heart
is whoever,
and act upon
if
it.
it's Hunter, we're getting Carter. If
platform
it's
to
Carter,
make your
we're getting
community,
Hunter.
the
That's all I
league, and
know
this world a
as a
better
Giants
place.
fan. That's all I know.
As we remember,
That's all I know. That's
Walter
all I can
Payton
think.
strive to leave a positive legacy.
Come on,
of
bro.
your
Wrap
own.
up the Yap sesh,
Thank you.
please. Please wrap up the Yap sesh, man. Come on, bro. Make the pick.
We have a trade.
Janoris Jenkins.
The
Make the
Cleveland
pick,
Browns
bro.
have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Imagine they took someone like Shador right now. Jackson
And
Dart.
with the second pick in the 2025 NFL
Travis.
Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
God
wide
fucking
receiver,
damn it!
defensive back from Colorado.
Motherfucking bitch.
I won't necessarily say homecoming, but Travis Hunter, Suwanee, Georgia, about a 5-hour drive from Jacksonville. So a lot of that family contingent won't have to travel too far to go and see the number 2 overall pick play with the Jags.
I mean, it's bananas. I mean, you
Why
make
is
a
my
move
dad
like that to
calling
get a Heisman Trophy winner. Someone you talked about,
I
still
wanted
fairly
Travis
vocal. So
Hunter.
when you think about the fan base and the people gravitating
Yeah, I
to
wanted
him,
Travis
they're going to
Hunter.
love it. But more importantly, it's the electrifying game that he's going to bring. They have not had a player like this. I mean, I don't know
he's not worth
history. Like,
trading
we talk about
that
the best
much
wide
for.
receiver
You
in
already had
Jaguars history,
3.
Jimmy Smith. They haven't had a DB certainly like
Damn
that
it,
since
dude.
Jalen Ramsey. Well, now you get a 2-for-1. This is a dynamic playmaker, guy with tremendous ball skills. He is going to help this team in
Travis
so many
Hunter's
ways because he can put the ball in the paint. He also can take the ball away.
He's a big game hunter. No, well, pun intended, I suppose. But, you know, what he is a truly dynamic
let's see.
athlete. He is truly,
What a Giants
when you
trade
watch
back
him
right
on
now.
both sides of the football, he is so natural. He looks like that kid
All right,
in
dude.
Little League, that in Pee Wee football that you know is just so much better than everyone else, and that's what
Bro.
he was every time he was on the field. We're talking about a player with elite
Bro,
instincts
I did
on both
not
sides
see
of the
Travis
field
Hunter
and
going to
elite
the
ball
Jaguars,
skills. And you see
bro.
that right here. This catch is
Dude,
a
I wanted
phenomenal
Travis
catch. One of the
Hunter
best
so
catches I
badly,
saw all
bro.
year long. That's the one he went up, catches through contact. He's got this yak ability where it's a catch and go, and he's slippery to catch. He's not the fastest player, but when you get into coverage, this is where he really shines to me, is at cornerback. I think once the ball is in his area, his ball skills take over as a wide receiver. And so you're talking about wide receiver on wide receiver matchups when the ball goes up. So the 50-50 truly turns into more of an 80-20. I think the instincts from man, the instincts from zone, it doesn't matter. In zone, you're in grave danger if you lurk with your eyes as a quarterback. And Bucky, I don't know how they're going to play him, but I know he's going to shine. He's got some technique stuff he still needs to work on both sides of the ball, obviously. That's what happens when you play both ways. You don't get a fine-tune one direction. But I guess the question is, can he play both ways when he needs to be in meeting rooms on both sides of the ball?
Well, I think he has to play both ways because that's what he's always done. I think it's very similar to the way that you utilize your top player in high school. The thing that
They
you
were
have to
saying
do with
Genty
him,
next at
superior
3.
conditioning is
Bro,
always there with
why
him. You saw
would
him
we
in the pro
take
day. He can run
why
all
would we
day,
take
and it's
Genty at
easy for him.
3
The thing about it is, you want him to have
when
the ball in the
we
center
have
because
no
he makes the magic happen when he touches
line?
it. But you also
We have
want
no
him on defense in those
line.
critical
Even if we get a
situations.
quarterback,
To me,
he'll
it's
struggle.
very easy
We
to
have
put him
no
as your
offensive line. We
starting
have
wide
no
receiver
pass block,
to
no
make you
running
nickel
block.
or your dime
We have
corner
nothing.
and kinda
Why
mix
would
and
we
match
take a
when you
star
wanna put
running
him in
back?
on either side.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Bro, like, what the
Basically
fuck?
6 feet tall, 188 or
Yeah,
so
it's
pounds.
fair.
Genty's good, but bro, he'll struggle on the
That's
Giants,
a lot
bro.
of reps. And we always talk about the growth,
That's not
right?
what we
You can get it
need.
done at the high school level. Can you get it done when you level
Like,
up?
I know I
college? He
sound
obviously was
mad.
able to do
Abdul
that.
Carter is
It's the
great.
NFL
And we're
too.
probably gonna
Like,
take
there's a
Abdul
reason why we
Carter.
don't see dudes being able to do this.
But
Physically,
damn, Travis
can he
Hunter
handle
was
that
really
load?
my first choice.
Well, I would
bro.
say the college game has more plays. Like you going up tempo, you playing 100 plays on the
Maybe
offense,
Giants
then
trade
another
back into the
70,
first
80
round and
plays
get
on defense. Well,
get
we're
Shador
gonna
or
take that
something.
down because the NFL game operates at a much slower pace. And to
I don't
me,
know,
it's the
bro.
creativity that the offensive coordinator
I don't know,
can
man.
utilize to really spell him. You don't need to
I wouldn't.
necessarily have
I
him on
wouldn't
the field
mind also
every
trading
snap
back into the
when
first
you're on
round,
offense.
taking
You have
Jackson
other
Dart
players that are
with
remember,
like the
they
28th or
don't have
29th
Brian
pick.
Thomas Jr. They got Gabe Davis. They have Parker Washington. Those are the guys that could be your starters. Travis Hunter is kind of like your chess piece. I know right now he's their best.
I'm not touching my phone because the Giants pick is almost in.
And so there's so many different things.
This
I
is
think
the
what you do
highest
is you go
picks
through
in
the
drafting
process in
Saquon
camp,
Barkley,
training
second
camp to
overall
kinda
in
see where you are.
2018.
And it may
Who
be a
knows what we
game-by-game
can do here,
decision
bro?
where he plays
Who
more
knows what we
offense
can
or
do here, man?
defense, but I know this,
2024.
You love to have a two-way player
I don't
that
even
is
want to
awesome.
say that.
in so
3
many
and 14 is
different
absolutely
Would love to know what
atrocious.
that reaction is currently in Cleveland, who thought that they were going to
Missed
have
playoffs
that
for
and
7
level
times
up.
in the last
But
8
Heisman.
seasons.
They got a nice haul, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
we need somebody,
that is
man.
dangerous, though, because you're trading out of. Look, there are 3 players to me. It's not Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward a lot, but 3.
If we take
Travis
Abdul
Hunter,
Carter, we'd
Ashton
have
Genty,
Abdul
and
Carter,
Abdul Carter. These
Dexter
are the
Lawrence,
elite 3,
Kayvon
big 3
Thibodeau,
in this
and
draft.
Brian
You
Burns on
traded
the
out
pass
of that.
rush, that
Now,
would be
at 5,
vicious, bro.
You still have a chance potentially to catch Ashton Genty. But would you do that at 5, or do you
Now,
trade
what are the
back
Browns
again
doing at
and start
5, though? Are they
stockpiling?
taking Genty?
Because in a couple of years, you're going to have a
Are
quarterback
are the
that's
Browns
really,
taking
really
Shador?
good.
Yeah, but they look. Nick Chubb is no longer there.
Those offenses
I just
still
can't
own
imagine the
neighbors.
dog
I
pound
know.
being the dog pound without a dominant
know.
running back. I mean, Yammer, guys. Mike
We
Yam
have
is-
no
y'all can't see it, but
playmakers.
Mike Yam has a tear forming in his eye because his beloved New York Giants.
No
have
tear.
It's
There's-
like, why
I'm
have
on- literally
playmakers
at
if
the
we
edge
don't
of
have
my
the
seat.
proper
I cannot
protection
wait
to,
to see
like,
what
make
team
plays
do. A lot of
happen? Like,
speculation.
we're
Maybe
in
it's
such a
Abdul
bad
Carter, who
spot.
Lance just
There's
said
a lot of
is one
linemen
the
in this
elite
class.
players.
I would like to see
This is still a
Giants add
squad that might
someone
be
for
in
the
a
offensive
conversation
line.
for another
Somebody
quarterback
decent.
later.
Don't you pass on Abdul Carter.
I hope that's not the
Do they
case.
That's
ever
also
not
why I
high
wanted
five? Are they
Hunter
always
too. I
excited
think
about
he'd be a
it?
nice little receiver
Why
every now
not?
and
You
then.
know.
All right, let's see, man. If it's not Abdul Carter, then we're honestly wasting this high of a pick, and we should have traded back. Let's
With
see,
the
man.
3rd pick in the
Come on.
2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter,
There it is.
defensive end, Penn State.
There it is. I'll take it, bro. I'll
We
take
think,
it.
Mike?
Oh yeah, let's go,
I'll take it,
baby!
man.
All right, a dominant player. You guys have been telling me for
Hey, welcome,
weeks
brother
that
Carter,
this
bro.
dude
Welcome,
is one of
man.
the elite players
Welcome to New
in
York,
the
bro.
draft. Can get after quarterbacks, and look, you mentioned dog.
Hey,
now,
he's
always
gonna
got
be
that
good though,
running
bro.
back.
He's
I
gonna
think about the
he's
Giants
gonna be a
being
problem, man.
successful,
I'm gonna tell you guys
get
right
after
now.
the quarterback and
This
have some
defense is
really
going
strong
to
players
be
on the defensive
problem,
line,
bro.
Get after and make nightmares.
He
for
is
the
Muslim
QB1
too, by
and
the way.
opposing
Shout
teams.
out.
We love
Speaking
like
He
that.
said
He's
fit
walking in
was
like the Matrix right now. Ain't he, Bucky?
representation of his
Neil
culture.
look-
Shout out
oh,
Carter,
I
man.
mean, I just don't
So
know how a
inspirational, know, man. Look at
Philly
Carter, man.
can go to New York
at Abdul,
and change
man.
his allegiance. He grew up being an Eagles fan. Now he's gonna be a Giant. What are we talking about?
It's all,
And my
it's all
dad's
good because
calling me
we
again.
saw a little bit of that story with Saquon Barkley. As long as the Giants don't trade him away. But Lance, when
I
you watch the
know.
film, on
Yeah,
the studio,
Our
I mean,
defense
look,
line
he's
is
got
good.
just incredible get off, and he
Hopefully
puts,
we beat the
he
shit out of Jalen
conflicts
Hurts this year.
tackles immediately because their technique
This
breaks
guy's what
down
we need.
immediately because of his quickness, and that's
I
what
didn't
he
want
does.
him that much,
He's
but
got
the other
quick
day he
first
said
step. He's got
Giants take, he was
closing
gonna lead the
bursts
Eagles
that's
in the
insane.
pass
He's got
because
the
you up
range
an
to
Eagles
get all over
fan.
the field and
That's how my
tackle.
guy,
There's
bet.
a lot of his game that is a lot like Michael.
You think we
Parsons.
trade Kayvon?
They're both linebackers turned edge rushers. They both, once they get into the backfield,
need
it's
him.
hard to shake them. Like heat-seeking missiles, they're going to be all over the quarterback. You're not going to be able to get away. So I think what really stands
You see
out
his
here is he
outfit?
can bombard that stat sheet as a pass rusher or
Yeah,
with
he's
tackles
good.
for loss. And that's what you want.
good.
You want disruption. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll take
They've got
it.
a couple of
All right,
defensive ends right
all
now
right.
already. They're going to figure this out. You don't.
I'll take it,
not
chat.
take an Abdul
I'll take
Carter
it.
just
This
because
guy
you
is
have
a
some
dog.
guys ahead
He's
of
very
him on the
athletic.
roster. You
He
don't
can
do that.
do
You take the best
anything,
player
bro.
there.
this was a slam dunk in your mind, right, Buck?
Slam dunk because it gets them back to being the Giants.
Literally, it's like
the
Parsons
G-men
on the
are
Cowboys,
always
man.
at their
Look at
best
him.
when they lead
Looks
with their
exact same.
defense. And their defense is always led by the front line. Now you have an opportunity to take Dexter Lawrence. You have Brian Burns. You have Kayvon Thibodeau. And then you have Abdul Carter, who can play linebacker or rush in, whatever you want to do. I just have these
I did
visions
want
of the
Hunter,
Giants
though.
when they were at their best and they were trying out that NASCAR package. They knocked off the Patriots twice
want Hunter,
with
but, hey, man,
multiple
I'll take
pass
him.
rushers being able to
Okay, now
harass the
who we
quarterback.
getting to is a real question. The
Giants
Raiders?
getting back to who they
Oh,
are. At least we know
wait.
they have an identity.
Raiders at 4,
It's gonna be
right?
tough,
Raiders,
though,
bro.
because the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. But
Uh-oh.
for tonight, I love it. I love it.
Hey, but one of the reasons it's going to be tough is you got two quarterbacks.
I mean,
that have high, like you got to go get a quarterback hunter, and you need somebody that can match athleticism with those two guys, and that's something Abdul Carter can do. So love
Raiders
the pick
probably
here for them.
take
He
Shador,
was
bro.
a second-rated player on my board, and just to me, just
Raiders here take Shador or
a really
Genty.
fun player to watch because he is just a high-energy player. Now, I will tell you, I think this sets up a really interesting question moving forward with the
There's no way.
New England Patriots. So the New England Patriots, they're projected to take a left tackle, right? All the mocks have them taking Will Campbell. What I think is interesting here is from a value
aren't Raiders at,
standpoint,
like, 6 or
if they
7?
get a phone call from a team like, say, the Chicago
Patriots
Bears,
right
who
now,
say,
right?
we're going up for Genty. Guys, what do you need for us to go up there and get Ashton Genty before the Browns get him? That would be an interesting
Talking
haul
about Genty
for,
now.
for
Yeah, it's the Browns on the
Patriots
clock
because
now.
it would allow them to potentially
So it's the
take that
Browns
position
and then
if
the
they want
Raiders. So
later,
honestly,
left
man, I'm
tackle,
gonna say
and stock up on picks because that
Oh no,
roster needs a
the
lot.
Patriots
of
pick
They
is
spent a
in.
lot of money
The
in this
Browns are on the
offseason.
clock.
It will look better.
So this is in real time,
this season to go.
and
but
this
you're right,
is
as we
a
continue
coverage.
to
So
reload here,
we'll put
once
this right
again,
here.
it
This
is the
is
New
real
England
time right
Patriots
now.
that are on the clock. Just
So
wanted to
real time,
note
the
here on
Patriots
Abdul
pick
Carter
is
and
in.
Saquon
The
Barkley,
Browns
obviously,
are on the
that
clock.
Mid-State
Let's
duo.
see what this says
Only
right here.
top
It
three
should come
draft
out with the
selections by
Patriots
Giants
pick
in the last
in
40
a
years. They
second.
used to rock that Nittany Lions
I don't see how they don't
uniform.
take the
This
best
dude's
tackle.
on
What's his
cloud
name?
nine.
Will? Is it
Travis
Will
Hunter,
Campbell?
the
I
second
don't see how they
overall
don't
pick
take him.
to the Jags with the Patriots.
could.
Dude, the answer to that's coming up next.
Nah,
on
bro,
Draft.
you have to take a tackle, protect Drake May. I don't see any way around it. Okay, back in 2 minutes, chat. So Patriots pick is in. PFF categorizes the Patriots offensive line as the worst in the NFL. So it would be fun to see what the young passer could do behind a group closer to league average. New England should be all about building a supporting cast of May, which should also benefit from better weaponry at the skill positions. You need an offensive line. There are good players on the board for other positions, but if you are the Patriots, you don't take anybody else, bro. I don't care. I don't care, man. Someone says Browns getting Genty. I could see that. I thought they would have taken Genty at 2, but if they traded down, knowing that he would still be there, then I guess that's a smart play. Someone saying Genty to Bears? That's delusional. I don't see how Genty would fall to the Bears. Unless they're traded or something, but I don't think they are. Number 6 pick is matters that Raiders. Oh my god, here he goes. I'm gonna say Raiders, say Genty or Shador, bro. Come on. Yo, can we finish up this break, NFL, please? Please? Can you guys imagine if the Patriots got Genty? That'd be kind of crazy. I missed it. Who did Raiders get? Raiders haven't picked yet.
Oh, welcome
So,
back to Draft
the
Center,
Patriots got a
presented
shoulder
by
pick. So the Patriots
FedEx.
pick
The
is in.
Patriots picking
Browns
inside
are
the
on
top
the
5
clock.
in
Let's see
consecutive
who the
years
Patriots
after
got
having
in.
0 such picks, 95 to 2023. There's a look inside that draft room right now.
Okay, Lonzo.
We got a new sheriff in town, Mike Vrabel,
Lonzo.
bringing back the prodigal son of sorts.
Oh, okay.
Who the pick is?
You
well,
see it? You see it the front line? So you got Elliott and Ryan Kelvin sitting in the same seat?
Yeah.
We'll find out exactly who the selection is going to be. The pick is in as we take you back to Green Bay.
Look at that.
Okay. We will not take you to Green Bay just yet. I thought we
not in.
and the pick is
It's not all the way because we didn't see all the
Like I was
excitement.
saying, bro.
The high
I put
fiving
it in
and
all
the
rocks and
You gotta make
everything.
sure because every pick
I
is a
don't.
good pick in the
I'm just
world.
posting on Instagram story. I'm not
There's
looking
not
at
one
anything
where
right
you
now.
see
I'm just posting
people-
Abdul Carr on
Never
my
seen
story.
somebody collapse.
I don't
like
see
that
how
with
they
their
don't
head in
take.
their hands.
No.
Never
we don't.
seen
Flex
that.
they fucking
I
will.
have when I've seen
Honestly,
some
they
of
don't
these
take the
picks.
best
I
tackle on the
collapse.
board, bro.
My-
You need to.
my
Drake
head.
May is the
Everyone-
future. Drake
every
May
pick is a
can
great
take
pick
you to
tonight.
the Super Bowl if you support him
This will be a
properly.
fun conversation
He
coming up
is a
because
generational
I think the
quarterback.
Patriots are
Drake
really
May
interested. Getting
is
Vrabel
just as
back
good as
and trying to
Caleb
reset
Williams.
the
He's
Patriot
just as
way
good as Jane
after
Daniels.
it's it stumbled
He
the last
is
couple of
him.
years.
So you gotta take
this
care
is
of
gonna
him,
be
man.
this is going to be a fun time to watch and see what the Patriots can do throughout this draft.
And once again, a spending spree in this
It's a
offseason.
W
We saw
right
the
here, though.
graphic
I
they're
built
getting it done
Carter,
on the
bro.
defensive side, also on the offensive side.
That's
Stephon
tough.
Diggs. And yes,
Not gonna lie,
it
that's
is now officially in as we take you back to Green Bay.
No, this guy's gonna be
With
a
the
dog, bro.
4th pick
I
in the
see.
2025
Let's
NFL
see.
Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell.
There it is. They need that.
Tackle.
They need that. Great pick.
LSU.
I think your people booing in the stream. No, that's a great pick, bro. You need that. It's a perfect pick.
It's the easy pick
Don't think
presented
twice.
by
Take it,
Bud
move
Light.
on.
God. My God, look, if you go with pinstripes like that.
Perfect guy.
you gotta
Look
be
at him.
an
Look how good he is,
absolute
chat. When it
dog.
shows highlights. Now the Browns
Come
are
on,
now.
man.
Oh, the Browns pick is in. The Raiders are on the clock. You
Felt
guys
like
think
it was a layup
Shador
here.
is
Lance
getting
called it.
picked
Buck,
by
he
the
thought this
Browns?
was going to be the
Shador
case.
I thought it
or
was
Genty?
absolutely was gonna
I
be
think
the
it's
case,
Shador or
and
Genty
I
for
just
the
love it
Browns.
because Will
The Raiders,
Campbell
who knows
gives
what
them
they get?
exactly
I think
what
it's
they
like the
need. They needed
Giants earlier.
someone
Whoever
on the
gets taken by
edges
5 will
who can
be
lock it
opposite.
down.
Will be taken
And
at
I know
6.
people gonna talk about the
This guy
short
is a
arms
dog,
and all
man.
that,
Will
but
Campbell,
I
look
just
at
know
his
in the
highlights,
SEC,
bro.
This dude was an
Shows
absolute
agility,
animal.
awareness.
You see it. Only 4 sacks
Versus
allowed.
Michael
Over 1,500
Ruse.
plus snaps. He got
Went
that
to
little
perform exactly
swag
as
to him.
expected,
And I
except the
told you,
trade.
when I saw his first
Yeah,
draft,
dude, the trade
I
was
all
kinda
over
crazy,
it.
I'm not gonna
When-
lie.
Look, pass
But look how
pro,
good he
the
is, bro.
technique,
He's such
firm
a
hands,
such an
base, all
anchor,
that
bro.
other
Like
stuff.
he's so hard
he's
to
a
move.
clinic when it comes
Like
to
he
pass
doesn't really
protection.
extend
Now, in the
outwards
run
a lot
game,
and create
there
a
can be
lot
some
of
things that
space.
show up that you like, man, I like
He
to
will
see a
get
little
pushed
more
towards you sometimes, but
physicality,
he's
a little more
very
nasty,
hard to
but
move. This guy's an
when it comes to
immovable object,
passing,
bro.
pass protection, he is that dude. And with Drake May, you're setting up the quarterback for
Yeah.
success by having Will Campbell.
This is Drake May's best
first
friend
of
right
good,
here,
his
bro.
hands are like granite.
This is Drake May's
Like,
best
when
friend
he
right
hits
here.
guys, and I mean,
They knew
first
what they
contact
wanted.
as a run blocker.
They knew what they wanted.
And his punch and pass
Look at that.
protection.
They knew that
It's
who they
like
wanted would
granite.
be there at
The
5,
second
bro. So
thing
it has to
is
be
he
Genty
has
or Shador.
really
It has to
elite
be.
agility and recovery ability. So when
Unless
he
they
gets
take a
beat,
corner,
he
but
can
I don't think they
recover.
take a
I think,
cornerback
you know, I
this
do think
high.
the arms can come into play at times. The shorter arms, they can come into play. My dad was an NFL line coach, and he always told me if guys say that,
I just got
you
back
ever hear
while
somebody
you
say
said
that
it.
short
I'm not
arms
sad.
don't matter, they don't coach offensive line. So, you know, that is one of the concerns for him. It just means that he has to be really refined as it pertains to the timing of his punch.
Yeah, that's a good
and his
pick right
hands,
there
his
for the
feet have to be
Patriots.
really good.
That is a
There's
perfect
still some
pick.
areas of
You guys can look at my
correction
mock
that
drafts and
needs to be
everything. You
had
guys
in
can
the
look at
pass
everything
pro
I've talked
for
about.
Will
I released
Campbell.
a
What
few
he's got
videos
is
for
a
the draft today.
mentality
I had
that
another one, but
Bucky
I'm not
mentioned,
gonna
the
lie. I
dog
fell asleep
mentality.
very early last
From what I
night and it never got
understand, Mike
edited.
Vrabel fell in
I
love
might
with him after
make.
he met him face to
I might
face.
still upload
And
just for
so
fun,
this
but
was
I doubt
something
it.
that was
So
kinda locked in
yeah, man,
because
it's supposed to be
Vrabel
one
loves
more
him. It's a
final
huge position
look
left
at.
tackle. But you know,
I think
the
it
other
was
thing
Jeremiah-
is, as a run blocker, he's a nasty run blocker.
Jeremiah
with
Smith,
good
Jeremiah Grant. I
finishing
forgot
punch,
fucking.
and he's got these strong
fucking
hands. So
who.
if he gets
Jeremiah
into
something.
you,
I can't remember his name.
you're
I'm not blinking.
Like you're not
You made a
getting away
final
from
mock draft.
those strong mitts.
You
I
know
was
what he got me?
reacting to it.
He got me when I
But,
saw the playlist today. They were
yeah,
talking about the
I don't
walkout
think-
music. And because Lil
think
Wayne
I'm
is in the
gonna post it,
building,
honestly.
and he said, I'm coming out to
me.
right above it, I just know that Will Campbell is that dude. Will Campbell is about that business, and they need an attitude
So
change in New England.
realistically-
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Give him a little wink before we squat that. Put some weight on our back. I'm just saying, people are sleeping on him.
take
You don't wear a green
precise
pinstripe suit
Jensen
unless you
Bush
got
and
that in you. Yammer, you just don't do that.
There's a reason why I'm wearing gray and blue. So I just keep it in the middle of the fairway.
at
I'm
the
just
draft
blue.
Yeah.
I'm just laying up on a par 5.
You know, I've
Here
seen
we
this
go.
happen with other teams,
Okay.
though, where they draft a guy highly thought of on that offensive
Honestly?
line.
Yeah.
They take him in the top 5, top 10, and it doesn't pan out here. You know, you guys have talked about the arm.
No, I don't think Browns take a tight
And this
end.
could set an organization back, too. You feel comfortable enough with what you've seen to say, you know what, this made sense for them?
Look, I have some concerns about the tackle class in general.
Mason
But,
Graham?
You know, it is a need, and you never want to be in this position where
Nolan
you're desperate.
Walter
And,
can
Bucky,
take
when
him
it came right
soon,
down to
not
it,
gonna lie.
they have no
Walter
left tackle.
Nolan.
Miami's desperate at defensive
Mason
line.
Graham or
When you
Walter
become
Nolan could be
desperate,
taken sooner
you're
than
limited
expected.
on who you can take and what you can do with your draft. And unfortunately, that's just where they are. They're just desperate, so they had to take the best tackle they could find in this spot. But you know, if it doesn't work out for him at tackle, I
show the
think he
pick
can
already, man.
easily swing down the guard. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
All right, we'll continue to track, obviously, what the Patriots are going to do in this draft. Let's get back to the biggest story thus far, and that was a trade that we saw a few minutes ago. The Jacksonville Jaguars moving up to the 2nd overall pick, and we saw the Browns move down to the 5th overall selection. I'm going to just throw it out there. Does this tailor-made for Genty at this point?
I think so. And, you know, Andrew
Guessing
Berry, who
Jensen
you
Jet.
see there, is the Browns general manager, huge in analytics, right? And the number one thing that he covets
Guessing
is
Jensen Jet.
productivity and future productivity. He likes college productivity, he likes future productivity. You know, the analytics crew, this is going to be interesting because if he takes Genty, that is the anti-analytics move to take a running back in the 1st round. That's so anti-analytics, and yet I think it's a smart move because you can have control on the player contract for 5 years. Then you got another franchise year if you need it, and maybe a second franchise year. That's 7 years with the running back. That's like having 2 contracts.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, all right.
Hurry up and announce
maybe not
Jensen to
tread
the
left,
Browns.
be done
We can
by-
get
by
moving
that
to the
time.
Raiders.
Yeah,
Come on,
which is kind of
announce
a
the
crazy
pick.
way.
If it's Genty. If it's Genty.
Maybe it's not, but you told me he's one of the 3 elite players. We've seen 2 of them taken off the
Shocked
board
if
with
it's
Cam and
Come
Abdul
on, man.
Carter. We find out if Ashton Genty is the pick for the Cleveland Browns as we take you back to Green Bay.
I'm calling it right here, Genty. I'm calling it. I'm calling it, bro.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham,
What?
defensive tackle, Michigan.
Did I not just say that a few minutes ago?
All right.
Did I not just say Mason Graham or Walter Nolan could be taken sooner than
in the
expected?
1st round.
Wow.
I didn't expect this
gotta be
soon.
honest, I didn't see this coming. Not that Mason Graham is a
Damn.
supremely talented
Well, he's
player.
been in
Thought-
that, like
no doubt.
every mock draft,
Damn.
he's been mocked to the 5th overall.
to the 5th overall pick. It wasn't
Yo,
this
I didn't
team, and I
expect
think
this
that's what
soon.
sort of clouded my judgment
not
here. So you're not
surprised-
surprised,
I'm
like,
not
yo,
too
did you see
surprised
one
when
of
you
my
look at the
15
Browns,
drafts
though.
on NFL.com?
Bust?
I had
No,
Mason
he's
Graham
good.
going 5th overall the
This
entire
guy's good,
time.
though. It's not
Well,
a
here's my
bust.
thing about Mason Graham. If you talk about the production and performance,
Mason Graham's really,
if you
really
are
good. It's
a
not a
film
bust.
study nerd,
Look at his
this dude gets
look
it
at his
done.
draft.
We talk about in the run game,
Like,
he is
his,
physical, he's
his
aggressive, he's
analysis is
feisty,
really good.
low leverage player. People talk about how he comes off the ball, quickness, the ability to get through the crack, the way he gets off box, the
Third overall is
non-stop
kinda crazy.
relentlessness and competitive spirit
Fifth
that he
overall,
plays
I
with.
mean.
To me, Mason Graham is one of the dogs
Damn.
in this draft. And I know he's not going to win the beauty pageant when it talks about the arm length and the prototypical dimensions and those that.
I would
but
say
if we're talking about
if you take a
playing
tackle
ball,
now, I thought
they're not
Walter
many that play
Nolan would be
ball
better.
like Mason Graham does.
High floor.
I
High
guess
floor.
not.
Not really. There's just really no bust potential to me. I mean, he's going to
no
be.
bust potential
the,
to
the
me,
question
Cooper.
is he going to
Damn.
be good or is he going to be great? I think that's the question. There's a little bit of variance in NFL circles. What I see is a player, Bucky mentioned it all, gets off blocks really, really quickly, really well. Hands are extremely
at that big
active.
boy.
He's very quick off the ball. He plays with
Fucking
that
huge.
leverage.
Buzz.
You know, he's got the broad, strong build. I think that he doesn't give offensive linemen any snaps off. There's
So
just
amazing that the
no
Browns have
snaps
fans.
off, and so
It's so,
because
so
of that,
amazing that the Browns
if
have
you
fans.
don't finish him, he reignites, and that's how a lot of his sacks come. That's how his tackles come. he reignites the embers and can make plays if you don't finish him as a
Yeah,
blocker.
he's going to be a
Top
problem.
Browns draft pick last year.
He
Michael
is
Hall
going
out
to
of
be a
Ohio
problem.
State. He got
Okay, so
taken
now
in
if
that
you're the
second
Raiders,
round. Now
you
it's
have
Brown.
the chance to
A
either
Michigan
take
dude that's out
Genty
there
or
on the
Shador.
same line with
wrestler.
Garrett.
Wait a
And a
minute.
wrestler
No,
as
yeah.
well.
Forget about it.
Watching this stream in
We
my
all
last
love- we
watchable
love the
class right now.
wrestlers.
Let's
So
go.
I'm going to throw this out there because I think, Lance, you said something. The conversation of the question is good or great.
No,
It's
what do
easy
the
to be
Raiders
great
do?
when you're coming in as rookie. Myles
Raiders
Garrett's
pick is
also on that
in.
line, right? Like, that'll
Cooper,
help
the Raiders pick
ease
is
some
in.
of the focus for you.
Good point. And we talked, Bucky, about we thought that it could be. Well, I've talked about Abdul Carter over there at times with Cleveland, thinking, well, with Abdul Carter, you stick him with Myles Garrett, and even though your offense isn't where it needs to be, it's easier to win games if the other team can't score a lot of points because you're in their backfield all the time. This isn't the defensive end position. It's not the rush position on the edge, but it is another defensive lineman. So it's the same concept of building your defensive front.
All right, to be abundantly clear here, we started
Very
our coverage
Texas
referencing some of
motherfucker,
Bucky's
Cooper.
mock drafts. And how many did you do? 27 mock
don't
drafts
know.
or
I've
something
done
along
a
those
bunch.
lines? The point is, I felt like on every single one that I saw that hit on NFL.com
Raiders
that we talked about on
pick
Mock Draft
4,
Live,
5.
at
is
6, it was Genty. It felt
And
like
now the
every
Jets are on the
single
clock.
time.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, look, I think I'm 5 for
watching the
5 based
stream,
on the
the
thing. I think I'm
business
5 for 5. I would love to go 6 for 6.
There was no way they pass on him, is there?
Well, no, I mean, what about the big guy from Texas? Like, just being able to kick. Like, we got to be in the offensive line. We got to be in the trenches, right?
yeah.
Are we
Oh,
going
it's
to
Pete
pass?
Carroll
Yeah.
on a running back.
I mean,
Like, don't talk to you like that, bro.
Pete Carroll loves it. I mean, Marshawn Lynch,
Marshawn Lynch.
all that. Like, I mean, that kind of
Mythology.
fits the identity. But I don't know.
Tell you what, I
All
don't
right,
know
Raiders
if I
pick
wanna
is
go-
in. I'm going to
I
say
don't know
they
if I
take
wanna be
Genty.
Two teams pass
Or
on Ashton
Shador.
Genty. I understand he's a running back.
Genty or Shador,
but
pick
this
one,
is
pick
a
one,
tricky
pick one,
one
pick one.
because Kelvin Banks, as you were mentioning,
Shador.
you're referring to
Raiders
Kelvin
taking
Banks,
Shador.
they need
Raiders
tackle.
taking
It's a
Shador.
weak-
I'm gonna call
it's
right
a
now.
deep
Raiders
running
taking
back
Shador.
draft, and it's a kind of a weak tackle draft.
If
So
Raiders
this
don't
is
take
a-
Shador, Saints are going to take Shador.
can't
And if Saints don't take Shador,
Seriously,
Giants
I
are going
just
to trade
find
back
it
into the
hard to
first take
believe
Shador.
We're going to be talking
Please,
about a Raiders team.
please,
Considering some of the
please.
issues they had on the offensive side a year ago with a Pete Carroll new regime in there where we saw
praying
the
to God
Marshawn Lynch's
Shador,
of the
he's
world,
on the bus
Zach
too.
Charbonnet more
Is he
recently.
the giant thing he's a
and they
bust? Yeah, how
focused
about you
their
go fuck
offense on what
yourself,
happens
buddy?
in that backfield. I get it, Gino's there at this point, but you're right. We don't know. We thought it was going to be this last pick with the Cleveland Browns. That wasn't the case. What is it going to be as we take you to Green Bay and officially get the pick?
Everyone in the chat saying Genty? No.
With the 6th pick
Everyone
in
saying
the
Genty?
2025
Genty?
NFL
Is it
Draft,
Genty?
the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Genty,
All right, I think this chat's ahead.
Running
I'm not going to
back.
have chat in here.
Boise State.
All right, I like that. If I'm a Raiders
said
fan,
one
you
of the
got to
elite
be happy
players your
about
comp
that.
was LT.
If I'm a Raiders
Yeah, he's
fan,
my favorite running
I
back
am
I've
very
seen
happy
since
about
Saquon
that, bro.
Barkley. Let me tell you what I
You
love
gotta
about
take
Ashton
it, bro.
Genty.
You gotta take
He
it.
is. He's a bell cow back.
There's a
right?
generational,
You need-
maybe
you wanna
best
give it to
player
him
in
a
the
ton,
draft,
you give it to him a ton.
talent-wise.
He can create in
Besides
three
Travis
ways.
Hunter.
Great Kirby Wilson, running back coach, once told me, you want guys that
Genty's
can create with
amazing, man.
speed,
This is a
with
good pick right
elusiveness,
here.
with
You guys
power.
cannot be mad
He can
about
do
this.
all those three things.
I know
Reminiscent
Raiders
of
want
our
a
guy
quarterback.
Maurice Jones-Drew, who had speed. He's got that low.
But you have to
he's
take
built
him,
low
man.
to the
He's
ground
good.
with a broad base. But when you watch Ashton Genty,
Okay,
what
now the
stands
Jets
out
are on the
is
clock.
he's very tough to
I
get
think the
solid
Jets
contact on. Even
take-
when you do, the feet never stop. So he just
I think
seems
the
to
Jets
bounce
take
off.
Armand
It's
Membu.
just, it's like two magnets, Sam. You know when you try to put
The
the
Jets
the
either
same
take
side
Armand
together,
Membu or
they-
Kelvin
I did that
Banks
for Howard
Jr.
Elkins. I was
I
very
would say they
easily
take
entertained.
Membu,
I
though.
know. Well, and
That's my
it's
prediction
just
right
like
now,
that when you
Chad.
try to tackle him. It's like a repellent. He just refuses to be tackled. When you do get a shot on him, you're going to take most of it. He's usually the hammer, and you're usually going to be the nail. He finishes through contact,
Raiders need to
and he
trade
scores a ton of
another
touchdowns.
pick and get
He
Shador.
he is one of the favorite running backs that I've ever studied because in the
Yeah,
middle
not
of it, I'm
happening,
thinking
buddy. Sorry.
the offensive line's just kind of average, and this guy's just going to war every snap.
Explosive after explosive after explosive.
9 out of 14 games, Bucky, he had 50 or more yard run.
I mean, look, you're not only talking about the explosiveness. I think it's the workhorse ability. 9 games where he had 30 or more carries. 19 games where he had 20 more carries in the last 2 seasons. We don't see that in the National Football League anymore, that workhorse running back. So when people make those comparisons to LaDainian Tomlinson, they talk about Frank Gore. You're talking about every down backs that, look, man, they live and breathe it. They can run it.
Damn,
they
I
can tell
can't
it, they
believe
get better
Genty's
in
a
the
Raider,
fourth
bro.
quarter. When
Wow.
you think about the Raiders and Pete Carroll was one of the few coaches back when the league was a passing league. They were running more than passing. You want to set Geno Smith and that offense up for success? Put a star running back in the backfield, feed him, and then allow the offense to work through the running back, not the quarterback.
He's Tecmo Bo all over
Yeah,
again. You
yeah,
couldn't
get
you
Bo.
couldn't tackle Bo Jackson on the video game. You have a hard time tackling him. And you know, the one thing though I would say, I'm sure Geno Smith's very happy about this. The one thing I will say, 200 Bucky references, 279 carries in the last 9 games of the season. Averaged over 30 yards, over 30 carries a game. He had 374 for the year. He's still a
come
young
on,
player.
man.
Just
Let's
3
get to
years
the
in
next
college
pick. Let's
football.
get to the next pick.
That's a lot of tread they pulled
only
off
so
the
much
tires
to say
last
about
year.
Justin
So
Raiders,
I don't.
Liverpool.
He's a bell cow back, but I don't think you want to go too crazy. I think you want to
I
have a
say take
secondary
Armand
back there,
Membu.
and you know, and bring him along at a reasonable pace. But it's going to be tough because he's just so good.
We're going to have Secretariat just trotting around the thing, man. We get Secretariat, we want a rider. We want to go. This is the whole point of getting a thoroughbred. We want to make sure we can get a Clydesdale. We can get a Clydesdale back him up, but we
have not won
want to make
AC
sure the
since
Secretariat is able to go.
2002.
You get the 9/11,
Oh my
you're not
God,
coasting.
that's
No,
You got to
we-
punch it a little bit.
No,
right?
we want to punch it in.
That's so
He gives
bad.
them that workhorse runner that they need.
They're going
It's
crazy,
easy to
I
set the
know,
offense
bro.
Off of him.
You know what else? The play action, and I was prepared to talk about this for Trevor Lawrence when I thought.
So far, Cam
Jacksonville was
Ward,
gonna
Travis
go.
Hunter, Abdul
When you were
Carter,
this
Will Campbell in the
good
top 4.
offensively, when you're this powerful and you're this,
And
and
then
you
I
hit
just
these
missed it 'cause the
50-yard
screen
carries.
went
Like I
away,
said,
so.
9 out of 14 games this year, he had a 50-yard or more carry. 9 out of 14. In some games, he had more than
Genty
one.
after that.
Do you know what that does for the passing game and play
I
action?
missed it again.
I mean, safeties are buzzing down. Geno Smith's job just got a lot easier, provided they get some
yeah,
wide
I
receivers
missed
and
it.
offensive
Oh, well.
tackles. It got a lot easier because the play action
Actually, I
is going to
just
be a
look over
real
here.
factor.
I think back to
see
Pete Carroll's press
prospects.
conference when he got introduced. He said, "We're not far away. This team can win right now." This pick of action
Kinda
Jets
crazy, Mason
proves
Graham
that
got
is
taken off.
probably the case. The Jets, they're on the clock. They got their
Come on.
quarterback in Justin
It's time for
Fields.
Armand
It's
Membu.
going to be offensive line for him. The pick is right around the corner.
Come on, just announce it, bro. Just announce it. Oh my God. Chat, I'll be right back.
Back here on Draft Center, it is presented by FedEx along with Lance Erline and Bucky Brooks. I'm Mike Ham. Yes, the pick is in for the Jets. Does it feel obvious? Were you going with one of the big fellas?
Well, I mean,
All right,
look,
chat, we are
everyone's
back.
talked about Tyler
We're back,
Warner
we're
being
back,
the
we're
guy
back.
working in the middle of the field. But if you want to play, you want to be physical at the point of attack. AG just came from Detroit where they maul people at the point of attack.
Had to have a little
If you're going to play
snack.
bully ball, you got to have some bullies.
stream
Yeah.
had
They need more
captions? There's
bullies
no
at the point of
captions?
attack if
Yeah,
you're the Jets.
they don't have a true starting right tackle right now.
You can't
They
put
don't have
captions
that on the roster, so it would make some sense. One of the two tackles that are there, but that's a good point. Aaron Glenn came
No,
from
we
a
haven't picked
team
it.
that
Bro, it's
really
Armand Membo, I'm telling you
prioritized
guys.
offensive line play, and look at how it's paid off for the Lions.
It's been huge for Detroit, especially with Dan Campbell
Let me pull
there.
my
We'll
mock
see if the
draft,
Jets try to mimic that as we take you to Green Bay for the pick.
Let me look at my mock draft on my phone and find this picture.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membu,
There it is.
Missouri, tackle.
There we go.
Let's check out the fan cam presented by Icy Hot. Membu with his family. It's a day that he's never going to forget.
That's a
He's
good pick
on
right
his
there.
way to the Big Apple, guys.
Gotta like this. We talked about what
That's a
Aaron
great
Glenn
pick right
learned
there.
from his time with the Detroit Lions. Being able to run the ball and dominate at the point of attack really allowed the Detroit Lions to unlock various.
So I
parts
had
of
the
their offense.
Jaguars
We talked
taking
about
Mason
Jared Goff
Graham
and
at
the question mark
5.
he was
And
coming
Mason
in, but
Graham
they
ended
surrounded
up
him with a dominant
still
offensive
going
line,
at 5, but
an
to the
offensive line that
Browns.
allowed his
Wow.
game to go to the next level.
Okay.
And Justin Fields, you're trying to do similar things, but to do it, you got to set the foundation up front.
And I got Membu.
If you want to play bully ball, we talked about this. You have to have bullies. Armand Membu has
Do
some
the
of that
Panthers
bullying
take
in his
McMillan right
Yeah,
now?
he's just
Bryce Young?
recently turned 21. I really like him. He's my favorite tackle in this draft. And one of the reasons is because I see what he is now and what he's going to be. He's got really good stick and sustain as a run blocker. He's got strong hands. He's got the ability to get out in space and spring runs
What do you guys think,
because he
Chad?
can get to the second level and make blocks. He did a lot of outside
think
zone
it's smart for them
blocking,
to
which
take a wide
requires a
receiver
lot
right
of
now.
movement. And you see right there, he just reached the edge and made it easy, softened the edge for his running back. But what I like about him is I think he's plenty strong. He's 330 pounds. I think he's a powerful guy. I don't think he'll have any problems fitting into a gap scheme as well. So he can zone it up. He's got gap scheme. He's got a little nastiness to him. And in pass protection, you know, he is going to get outreach some. He's only a
Dude, I wish
33 and a half
once,
inch
like,
arm
a
guy.
lock-
You see it on
a-
tape. He gets
a
outreach.
pick was locked
But
in,
he's
they just
crafty
sped
with his
things up,
hands.
bro.
He uses varied pass
Panthers
sets.
pick is
so
in, I'll say
he's
it's on
already,
the
I think,
clock.
ahead of the game at age 21. Very good offensive line coach over there at Missouri. I think
So
he's
I
set
just
up
keep
for
it
success
moving,
with
bro.
the Jets.
You know,
I'm
I
gonna
think it
say
was
it
you,
all
Buck,
day
who
long.
made reference to Aaron Glenn being in Detroit. Let's not forget Dan Campbell and Brand Holmes. Back in 2021, Penei Sewell with the 7th overall pick. Some similarities here when you talk about that tackle. Meanwhile, Carolina Panthers thought they could be right for the picking in terms of a trade. We'll find out if they make the pick. Coming up next.
Alright, well, while we're waiting, let's look at some Abdul Carter highlights. While we're waiting. 2 minutes? I bet.
To being a motor oil ad?
Oh, Giannis. Castrol is more than just motor oil.
Excellent at quarterback for the Falcons. Patterson wrapped up by Abdul
Let's watch some of these Carter highlights real
No
quick.
gain, and let's go to Danny
I'm gonna be watching a lot of Carter highlights the next few days. I'm gonna tell y'all that much. Oh my god.
goes. Circled him at the perfect time. Carter picks up the
These
sack.
guts are so fast, bro.
Here comes the rush. Altmaier steps up, delivers, it's batted down. Abdul Carter showing off the
Disruptive.
versatility. Altmaier on first down. Stands tall. Now has to get away. Carter got to him first, and down goes.
See, I can see him doing something like that against like Lamar Jackson, and the guy just keeps running. So you gotta make sure you do a
again.
little more of that against NFL level quarterbacks. That can
This
see
is now
it
a
easier.
3rd and 25 for Altmaier and
I think
company.
he can adjust pretty well though. Okay, so he
Altmaier
reads.
on the run.
Okay,
Carter
he
gets him
seems
again.
very,
Ball
very
comes
intelligent
loose.
the way he plays. He can pick things up very quickly. So, okay, yeah, he's a good pick right there. He waited in coverage for a second, blitzed. Yeah, this guy's gonna be a dog, bro. I've seen enough. seen enough. Alright, so on my mock draft, I had Tetsuroa McMillan going to the Panthers. Let's see where he goes when they come back. Or, I mean, let's see what the Panthers take when they come back right now. 15 seconds, 10 seconds. I mudded.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, you should be fired up. Ashton Jeanty, the selection, heading to Vegas. He goes about 600 miles south from Boise, so not too far from that fan base to go and watch him play at Allegiant Stadium. Time for Salutes to Service, presented by USAA. Earlier this month, official NFL Salute to Service partner USAA invited NFL draft prospects Ashton Jeanty and Jalen Milroe to General Mitchell Air National Guard Base in Milwaukee to experience a day in the life of active duty military, including pilot training in a flight simulator. USAA and the NFL say thank you to those who stand ready to defend our nation.
Yeah, this is some good honey, bro.
Kind of a cool experience.
Well, come on, let's take McMillan.
What Jeanty and some of those guys do in that pre-draft workout, but I am looking right now at the Carolina Panthers who are on the clock. I felt like, hey, if you wanted a quarterback, this might be a spot where you try to move up. Said that to you guys in the break, and both
just take him, man. Come on.
I don't know if that's going to be the case.
It'd be great to move out. I just don't know who you'd move up for. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's where we're at now. Like, we talked about all the blue chip players. All the blue chip players, with the exception of Tyler Warren and maybe Colston Loveland, they're off the board. So normally you won't move up unless you feel like there's a blue chip player that you have
Come on, just take him already,
kind of
bro.
Interesting if that's your guys' take, because we are talking about the 8th overall pick.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with the blue chip.
Come on now.
Yeah, we're done with the blue chippers, and this has been a defensive end in all the mock drafts. But do they have one that they covet at 8? We'll find out, because they still could use a tackle.
Let's take you to Green Bay.
If it's not McMillan, I honestly don't know what to expect.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tetsuroa
There it is.
McMillan.
Another one from my mock draft I got correct.
Arizona.
Let's go, bro. My mock draft is looking nice right now.
I talked to a very good friend of mine around that Panthers organization this morning. I said, hey,
yo,
man,
my mock
which
is
way
looking
we going?
nice right now,
Go
bro.
in a couple different directions here.
So
And at the
according to
very
my
end of the
picks,
conversation,
next up
he
is
goes,
Shador
you know, kind of
to the
talking about that wide
Saints.
receiver room. Maybe there's a fit here. And I immediately perked up. The range for Tet McMillan, though, Lance, you know this, kind of all over.
All over. All over. And this was, to me, the hardest team to project, because it's not a clean defensive end feel and fit over with the players who are on the board right now. When you get Tet McMillan, when you get Tetsuroa McMillan, T-Mac as they call him, you're getting somebody who is really incredible.
Wait, I've got 6 out of the top 8 correct so far.
Player in the air.
Wow.
He's tall, he's rangy, he can play over the top of pretty much any cornerback. He's got great timing,
Cam Ward
which
to
you have
Titans,
to have as a
obviously. Will Campbell
basketball
to the Patriots,
rebounder.
Mason Graham to the
And, you know,
Jaguars.
the catch radius is the highlight reels from the 23 tape is off the charts. 24 is good. 23
no, 5
is
out of 8,
incredible.
5 out of 8.
He's very smooth. He makes it look easy.
4.
Sometimes I think it's held against him. And sometimes he does coast, though, Bucky. Sometimes he doesn't drive out in the drive phase and put some fear into cornerbacks. And I think that's something that needs to get coached into him.
It needs to get coached into him, but Dave Canales came from where? Tampa. Who's the #1 receiver in Tampa? Mike Evans. You can say that maybe Dave Canales is looking at Tet McMillan's tape and saying, guys, I've seen this before. We had a lot of success in Tampa with a big body playmaker who excelled at winning jump balls, who had 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Oh, we're going to get T-Mac. And don't underestimate the fact that when everyone is talking about Tet McMillan and kind of like the California cool, where's the quarterback from? California, SoCal. So when we talk about the energy, the relationship, and all that, and remember this, Bryce Young played at Marta Day. T-Mac played at Servite. They're in the same league. There's some crossover in terms of interacting with each other. To me,
Saints
that
pick
matters.
is in, and the Bears are now on the clock.
How does he pair with Leggett, by the way?
Come on, bro.
How does he what?
With Xavier Leggett, who they took last year.
Well, Leggett is more of a bully wide receiver. I mean, he's one you want to get between the hashes, and he's going to make those tough. I think what McMillan's going to do is try to stretch the field a little bit. He runs in the 4.5s. He's fast enough. But once he gets down the field, unless you have a double team, it's an advantage for him all the time. So I think you want him playing, the Z, and then you get, I would think, and then you have Xavier playing the X. I don't know how they want to do it, but I think they're complementary receivers. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Remember, Dave Canales came from where? He came from Tampa. So you had Chris Godwin.
Yes.
And you had Mike Evans. So now the Carolina Panthers have basically recreated their wide receivers.
I don't think they have similar play.
Remember,
obviously they could do similar things with their play styles.
Undersized quarterback in Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
They had those two big guys in Tampa. Now in Carolina. Undersized quarterback, big bodies on the perimeter. He basically is just taking the cheat code from Tampa Bay. He took that playbook on Madden and said, hey, we're just going to put this under Carolina. We're going to go to work.
That's all he did.
5 months ago, if you told me that T-Mac was going to be the first wide receiver taken off the board, I would have been like, oh, okay. Last couple weeks, I don't know if I would have said that.
Yammer, this is what you got to do. Lance will tell you. Yammer in January, put your pen down. Put your notebook in the drawer.
Saints might take him right here.
Because what happens, we end up going on this long roller coaster, and we come right back to where it is. Spot.
Yeah.
Because
it happens all
everybody that we love at the end of the season, we end up loving them. And look, here's the volleyball stuff.
You already have 34s. Go back into the third.
Can you imagine being on the other end of that?
He's a legitimate volleyball player, so playing above the rim. Got that nastiness in that dog. People, hey, look, don't let the smooth taste fool you. T-Mac has some dog in him. It just doesn't come out because he's nice. But don't be fooled. This dude can play. He's an animal. He was an animal in high school. Continued to be a dog, but he was in Arizona.
Hopefully they do something.
He is going to be a dog for the Carolina Panthers.
He could have played 100% indoor volleyball at Arizona, right?
Oh, 100%. No question.
You see him skying above it?
There was a meet the parents moment that was just about to happen on that volleyball court. Yeah. Like, that was about to get really, really nasty there. All right, I had speculated, who am I, right, to speculate that, hey, maybe Carolina would try to move out and maybe we'd be having a quarterback conversation. That clearly didn't happen. They get an offensive weapon in T-Mac here. There's been so much speculation about what the Saints are going to do with the 9th overall pick. We know Derek Carr banged up. He's not going to be able to start the season. Kellen Moore, an offensive-minded coach, now takes over. What's the direction that this team should be leaning into?
Well, I mean, listen, they haven't been happy with Trevor.
Like Jets and
Jaguars. You've got a potential tackle sitting there.
Jets and Patriots, they're smart. They got the highest rated tackles.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Michael Williams.
That guy's good.
Jalen Walker is now on the board now, so you have.
He's one of those guys you have for like the whole quarterback's career. He's solid.
Jalen Walker's kind of in that Zach Bond mold, if you really want to know the truth, which he didn't work out there, but he sure worked out in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
he can play linebacker and edge.
It'd be interesting. Kellen Moore's first pick, offensive-minded coach. Normally, you kind of lean to your baby, want to get it right. The Derek Carr situation.
I think Shador goes right here. If Shador doesn't go right here, you really might fall towards close to second round.
Or if he's not there.
One of the more intriguing picks is the Saints at number 9. Here's the answer.
Uh-oh, here we go. I don't know.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr.
Kelvin Banks Jr. Oh, shit. Kelvin Banks Jr.
First team All-SEC.
No, they didn't take
Shador. Dude who's had 42 career starts, all at left tackle.
I didn't think Banks would go this high.
Yeah, and I tell you what, one of my favorite game of his was his freshman season when he went up against Will Anderson and shut Will Anderson down. And I was at that game in Austin.
So they're sticking with Spencer Rattler or what?
Really impressive. Now, what I'd like to see is him get better and better and better. I think he's kind of stagnated a little bit as a pass protector, but he's gotten substantially better as a run blocker. He's got some good dip in his hips. He can really get into blocks with some
force. Bears don't need a quarterback. Niners don't. Cowboys don't. Dolphins don't. Colts might.
They were one of our finalists in the Joe
Falcons
Moore
don't need a
Award for the best
quarterback.
offensive line in college football. And one of the reasons is because this guy, Kelvin Banks, did such a good job.
Nobody really needs a quarterback.
Thought for that offense. Now, in pass protection, there are some holes. He doesn't have a long start.
Bears pick is in, and then Bears, Niners, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Bucks, Broncos, Steelers, Chargers, Packers, Vikings, Texans, Rams, Ravens, Lions, Commanders. I know.
We can talk about like picking apart.
Oh my God.
Athletically, yes, he's a high-end player. And when you're looking at the position and you're looking at the feet,
yeah,
and
I know Colts have Richardson.
He fits Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore, as much as he was able to run it in Philly, Kellen Moore wants to throw the ball. He wants to throw the ball 35 times a game. And so you have to have a premier pass protector to be able to do it. Kelvin Banks Jr. has the footwork and the athleticism and the agility to be able to kind of be that dancing Barry that can shadow box on the edge.
All right, you mentioned his time obviously most recently winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles. I'll take it even a step back with the Dallas Cowboys. How do you think that those moments and those experiences shaped this pick here?
I think so. I mean, look, you got to have an offensive line to do it. If you are a creative play designer,
Saints sticking with Carr? Hey, I guess so, bro.
Part of your play sheet.
I guess
if your quarterback is always on the ground. This gives them a chance to really get to being super creative when it comes to the play design.
Yeah, before we get to the Chicago Bears pick, let's take you out to Green Bay right now for a very special announcement with our Colleen Wolfe and Laura Rutledge.
I did not expect that, chat. Really did not expect that.
Hey, there's our colleague Colleen Wolfe. Fans everywhere. Laura Rutledge with an announcement.
Fedora drops the Giants. Hey, I'm hoping, bro. That's what me and my dad are talking about right now. I'm hoping, bro. I'm doing the math. Nobody, bro. Who here needs?
Look, the schedule release marks a pivotal moment in the NFL calendar. It sets the stage for a thrilling season. Yeah, this is when we get to geek out over every single
who needs a quarterback right here, bro?
Bye week,
Bears, Niners, Cowboys. Who needs a quarterback? Who? None of these teams need a quarterback. None of them.
Deciding playoff spots. And who's playing at Lambeau in December? Ooh,
is Jackson Dart better than Shedeur, though?
Okay, how about these rookies, the players who are drafted here tonight? When and where do they make their NFL debuts? We're going to find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international games as well as Christmas, Thanksgiving Day. There's so many captivating matchups.
My dad was thinking he could be first quarterback taking the second round, kind of like Lamar Jackson.
Destroy another. So, without further ado, everybody, get it together, mark your calendars, set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on...
I don't know, 32nd pick. The last selection of the first round, I guess.
There we go.
He did fall hella far.
We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content from
Bears. Who are the Bears
NFL
taking?
Team sites, the club's social channels.
I think Bears had to take a lineman, bro. At this point,
as well as ESPN. So much full coverage of the thrilling 2025 matchups. May 14th just around the corner. Too. I know. It's basically here.
Damn, I mean, all the tackles got taken already.
Greatest season of your lives.
All the good ones. They're like the top rankings.
All right, let's call a spade here. You and I had the same reaction. Take out the phone, start putting it into the calendar.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm busy on the 14th.
That's officially a work day.
Draft's over for me. I'm done.
Work hard enough going through all the evaluation. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears on the clock right now, still awaiting to figure out who the official pick is going to be. You can see inside that draft room, we do have some smiles.
Pretty happy.
Hey, maybe they move up. They don't. They sit at number 10, and here's the pick.
Uh-oh. Let me see. They could take Donovan Jackson. Maybe Josh Simmons. Tyler Booker. Oh, Tyler Booker would be a good pick right here. Walter Nolan would also be a good pick right here. All right, let's see.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend. Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael.
Let's see.
My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time.
This could be Walter Nolan. It could be the other guy I just said too.
Please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. 50 years ago, with the 4th pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Sweetness not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
has to be O-line or D-line.
The Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland.
Tight end?
Tight end, Michigan.
Wow.
One of the explosive players of the draft. First time the Bears have taken a first-round tight end since Greg Olsen back in 2007, Buck.
Go blue. So Colston Loveland goes ahead of Tyler Warren. There's a lot of people that are going to be shocked by that. But if you really dig into the tape, it comes down to fit and what you like. Remember, Ben Johnson comes from Detroit where they had Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta was a little different coming out of Iowa because he was a pass-catching, playmaking tight end. This guy can do it all. I have him categorized as a flex tight end. He's a jumbo wide receiver. He can line up in the slot. He can go out wide. He can do all those things. But he still has that Michigan toughness that enables him to make me a wide tight end. Great pass catcher. And as we're building this offense to elevate Caleb Williams, you have a dominant player over the middle of the field. It should really work for the rest of the team.
Look,
very good
pass
young
catcher,
weapons for Caleb.
I mean, he's above Tyler Warren. I think where Tyler Warren has him, and just barely, is the blocking. But he's a lot like Tyler. He's a lot like Tyler. Very similar body types, very similar release into the routes, same type of ability to separate. You see him right here. Look at this ability to separate, and that's what stands out about Colston Loveland when you watch him. It's the fast routes. He's able to uncover underneath, which is kind of rare for tight ends. But he's got that wiggle that is, allows him to uncover on all three levels. He's got good speed, good shiftiness underneath, and I think he tries as a blocker. He's getting better. Very few tight ends come into the league ready to block. You just want to know if they're willing. And Colston Loveland is willing to block.
Yeah, that player comparison brought to you by Accenture. I also think about Ben Johnson, what he had in Detroit with Sam Laporta.
What are the Niners doing? Are they taking wide receiver?
We saw what the Jets were doing, grabbing an offensive lineman. Think about what Detroit had when Aaron Glenn was there. I can't help but think that Ben Johnson,
maybe Walter Nolan goes here.
The Lions might be thinking the same thing with this pick.
Yeah, the wife and I took a little quick draft break. It was December when I watched him.
We were
in Georgia, and we were in a hotel, a little bed and breakfast, and I said, well, I still got to bring the tape. We can go, but I got to watch. I got to get three players done today.
To the
and
Niners,
I watched Colston Loveland. I remember it was a Friday night. I turned it on. I watched Colston Loveland.
Oh my gosh,
what are you doing? I said, I'm watching Colston Loveland is what I'm doing. This guy is really, really good. And I'd already written up Tyler Warren, and I finished with Colston Loveland, and I thought, there's not a huge difference between these two players. They're actually different. One's more of a combination Y, and one is more of a pass catcher.
I can see you guys who have my phone right here. So if you guys try to say anything to me on chat, I have my phone.
When I watched Colston Loveland.
I'll be right back. Give me
very romantic journey to the bed and breakfast.
I thought so.
Yeah, would your wife agree with that assessment?
She's a football fan. She understood.
She gets it. That's definitely big. The San Francisco 49ers on the clock. We'll get to the pick coming up next on Draft Center.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. We vibe with it 'cause it's game time. We live with
Well, back here on Draft Center, presented by FedEx, along with Lance Zierlein, Bucky Brooks, Mike Yam with you. The Niners are on the clock. Made an observation. We're going through some of these selections. You couldn't help but notice that we haven't had a whole lot of defensive players.
Yeah, no, it was funny because we talked coming into the draft about the edge class and the class of edge rushers coming into the draft and how we expected them to come off the board pretty quickly. But what we've seen, it continues to be an offensive draft. Offensive tackles, tight ends, playmakers, and those things. So no matter what we talk about, the National Football League, it remains a passing league. It remains an offensive league. The defensive guys will catch up.
Lance, don't you see it this way that it's got to be? Oh, I shouldn't say has to be, but it does feel like the Niners the last couple seasons have had to address getting after the quarterback on their D-line. Don't we talk about a defensive player with the selection?
Yeah, I mean, they need defensive tackle. I don't know that there's a great fit. Maybe Kenneth Grant here. You have to also remember, and Bucky does a great job of this, drawing lines between things, but I like to usually look at how teams draft their philosophies, and they're a traits team. They like long limbs, long arms. Shamar Stewart, Eric Armstead didn't have a ton of production when he came out either. He became a really good player. So they do need defensive line. I'd say that's the favorite here.
All right, let's find out who the pick is. The USO Yokota Air Force Base in Japan is where we go for the Niners selection.
Hello from United States Forces Japan. I'm Sergeant Mitchell Johnson. I'm here with service members from the United States Army, Marine Corps, and Navy. We are proud to announce that this year we are celebrating our 250th anniversary. We are grateful for the opportunity to partner with the NFL Salute to Service and the USO in introducing the San Francisco 49ers 2025 draft pick.
With the San Francisco 49ers draft pick, back to you in Green Bay.
Thank you to our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom.
I'm back, chat. I'm back with my coffee, chat. I'm kind of matching the coffee today, I'm not going to lie.
With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Michael Williams,
Edge?
defensive end, Georgia.
Okay. I haven't taken either defensive tackle.
All right, so the selection is Williams. To be honest with you,
really take an edge rusher, but I like it.
First guy for Georgia taken off the board. Explain to me why it's Williams.
Well, Lance talked about the traits. Like he talked about traits. I mean, this is a big, heavy-handed playmaker. I mean, you talk about 34 and 3/8-inch arms. This is someone who's raw as a pass rusher, but for them, they don't care because they do a great job of developing their defensive line guys. And when I see him play with power, dynamic off the edge, heavy hands, relentless when it comes to his competitive nature. He does a really good job of just bullying people at the point of attack. And even though he hasn't completely put it together in terms of putting the full repertoire of moves to sequence them to be able to have a signature move, then a counter, you can just see that in time. He can develop into a dominant player off the edge and playing opposite Joey Bosa. Not Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa. He is going to have a chance to kind of feast off some of those garbage sacks on the backside.
Yeah, I watched a lot of tape because Georgia, first of all, you rotate a lot at Georgia, so you don't really get in a rhythm a whole lot. So what they want to do, they want to play a lot of players. You watch him lined up as a 5 technique or just a shade out of the over the tackle's outside eye. He's not nearly as effective. Most guys aren't. When they allowed him to play wider and they let him run wide, all of a sudden, and it's not a lot that they did it, Mike, but when they did that, he really created speed. The power, he's got a little swipe and step move that is very effective. He flashes it. So he's putting things together. The ingredients are there. The cake is not baked, but the ingredients are all out there on the counter, and he has all the traits that they like. He's got great football character, very high football character. Coming from Georgia, he's a worker, and 30% of his tackles went for losses in his Georgia career.
All right, you guys are telling me about traits. You're saying, hey, it's not a finished product, and that's a good thing when you talk about guys. You don't want to see the ceiling already being reached.
Who's on the board after this? Cowboys?
Oh, I think so.
Okay, so
yeah, I thought the Saints could go Michael Williams at 9 initially.
He has enough production where
Cowboys
you can
pick us
justify
in,
it,
and
like
the Dolphins are on the
He's
clock.
big and physical, and
Let's
this
see,
is
if
one
I'm the
where the GM has
Cowboys-
to scout the coaches. Who's going to have their hands on them? Who's responsible for developing them?
Kyrie,
Chris Pacerka is one of the
why you
best
crazy
line
giddy?
coaches that you'll find. They can certainly get him to go to another level.
America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. They're on the clock.
Let's say if you're the Cowboys, I say you take Matthew Golden. Take Golden. I just saw it. I just saw a Twitter notification. This is a good pick, though.
With the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
That's all
the
pick.
Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker.
I like Tyler Booker a lot.
Alabama.
He's really good.
That is.
I wish your mics were open because I got a collective from both Bucky and Lance line here as they saw Booker and hear his name called by Roger Goodell.
So I think I plugged him into the Cowboys.
Cowboys still ass, though. They need a playmaker, not a guard.
Retires, and you get a bully here. Tyler Booker.
Yeah, as a Giants fan, this makes me happy.
Bully. And I don't think he's necessarily the most talented guard in this draft. I think that might be Donovan Jackson.
As a Giants fan, I'm happy with this pick, bro.
He's the team
I'm not
leader
gonna lie. I'm
for
happy
all
with this
of
pick as a
Alabama.
Giants
Not just
fan.
the offensive line, not just the offense, but the entire team. When things needed to get right, the coaching staff would say, and Booker would go to them and say, I'll make sure everything gets right and we
You
get
could
things
say this is a
handled
reach,
here,
but he's still
on
a
the
good
field.
player nonetheless.
You can't say enough about having an offensive lineman who
Now
has
the
that. Not to mention the
Dolphins
fact
pick
that
is
he's
in.
big, he's got long arms, and he is a very, very physical player as well. So some of it is mentality when you draft a player. Some of it is you want mentality. I know the Texans have to be throwing up right now. Because Tyler Booker's gone off the board, and I'm sure they would have loved his mentality there.
They certainly would love his mentality, but let's connect some dots. Okay, so Brian Schottenheimer is the son of Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer is famous for Marty Ball. Marty Ball is a physical brand of ball. We're going to run the ball at you between the tackles. Well, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you lose Zach Martin. You have to have a dominant guard to be able to do that. Tyler Booker is a guy that is a gap scheme friendly player. He wants to come around and knock people on their cans. And when you're the Dallas Cowboys and the way that you have to close the gap on your competitors, look, those guys have more finesse, more explosiveness. You're going to have to make every game a street fight. And the only way to do that, you got to be able to play in the phone booth. Tyler Booker loves playing the game in the phone booth.
Okay, so do we have answers here? I look at the last 3 first-round picks for him for the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker. Have we now officially answered
Dolphins
offensive
might
line
take-
for this organization? It's been a problem.
They might take Will Johnson.
Yeah, but that's
right
what they
here.
do. I don't know what they're going to put on the back of like.
Dolphins
It's going
might
to be
take Will
tough
Johnson
in the
right
O-line room when you're calling on who's going to answer questions and those things. You're
I
going to have to
think
give
they take Will
everyone
Johnson
nicknames.
here,
But when the Cowboys are great, it's because their offensive line dominates. I mean, it's the offensive line, then it's the running back. I would expect in the second round them to get a dominant running back to go behind that offensive line. They win when they are able to lead the league in rushing.
And they've gotten away a little bit from the offensive line stuff. Maybe they've wanted to, but it just hasn't been as dominant over the last few years. But Tyler Booker gives them a chance. He's a real downhill. You know, he's not going to be a lot of pull and get into space like we saw with Armand Membu. There's some other players who will do that.
What would the show
but when
be
you
about?
have him, you're going to get downhill and you're going to get physical. He can neutralize
And I
powerful
definitely do
defensive
not need
tackles
an
at the point of
Netflix show.
attack. And think about this. The division he's playing in has some really good defensive linemen in Philadelphia. You got to beat Philadelphia. They got some really talented defensive linemen, including Jalen Carter.
And the Giants too,
And the Giants too. So you need a strong player at the point of attack.
Yeah, we're too
I just got to throw that out there. You got to have Joe Carter. Come on now.
You got to pass rusher.
Yeah, we're through the Giants in there.
Just needed to go in that direction. I'm going to throw this out there because the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. And if I'm not mistaken, Ian Rappaport, maybe it was Garofolo,
Hey, man,
one of those guys
Giants
that said,
Carter, I
Miami
like it
was
though,
willing
man.
to move down.
Definitely
It
a
started
good
to
pick.
feel like
I
this
think
is going
Giants
to be
really
a
started to
quiet
build
day. We've
something. We just
obviously
need
got I would classify it as a
offensive
blockbuster when we move up
playmakers,
to the
bro. We
second
really
overall
just have
pick. And I get it.
neighbors.
It was only a few
Like,
selections
fuck,
between
bro.
the Jags and the Browns. But Miami, like, we're not seeing a whole lot of trades.
Dolphins
here.
are still taking this long.
Is it fair to assume like this is going to be maybe, obviously one
Dolphins
more
are on the
happen,
clock.
but
Wow, their
there's not
pick
going
is
to be a
really
whole lot
not
of
in.
movement for a lot of these franchises.
I think so. I think it's player driven. A lot of times the trades are player driven, meaning the talent is such that you want to go up and get the blue chip player. We talked about 5 or 6 blue chip players in this draft class. Those guys were off the board early, with the exception of Tyler Warren, who's still available. And so when you don't have those guys, yeah, you may move up, but typically you're moving up to get a blue chip player, someone that is a game changer. Right now on the board, really good players, I can't say that there is a game changer that's available to make someone want to move up and jump up.
It also depends on Miami's in a unique position. because they need a safety
Still
and they
on the
need a
board.
defensive lineman. And this
Still
isn't really
no
the
pick
spot
locked
to
in.
draft
Come on,
those
bro.
positions. Not necessarily. It'd be very early for safety and a little bit early for the next defensive tackle.
Yeah, maybe that's a reason why Miami was very eager to try to move out of this selection. As of right now, they have it. Who the pick is going to be is still to come here on Draft Center, presented by FedEx.
The pick is in, chat. Looks like their pick is in. And now the Colts are now on the clock. Dude, I just want Giants to trade back into the first today, bro. Come on, man. Trade back into the first. Let us get Shador. Or Jackson Dart. Or whoever we're going to take. And just let it be done, bro. Let 2 old quarterbacks mentor him. Come on, bro, please. Oh man. Alright, chat. What are the biggest surprises of the draft so far? Get this man's on ESPN. Man, biggest surprise of the draft has to be Colson Love into the Bears. Or the Saints taking Kelvin Banks Jr. and passing up on a quarterback. Maybe Saints are prepping to have a quarterback in round 2. Unless they're really just sticking out with Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler. But they're upping their offensive line power. The Jets knew what they were going to do. Kind of surprised that the Raiders actually ended up taking Jency and not Shador either. Patriots were expected. Giants were somewhat expected. Jaguars trading with the Browns was not expected. Titans was expected. Honestly, this has gone mostly according to schedule. A couple things have kind of been crazy, but honestly, this is a fun draft, man. Michael Williams is going to be a problem, though, for the Niners. Michael Williams is going to be a real problem. And the Cowboys guard, Tyler Booker, he's going to get picked on, bro. Dexy is going to pick on him. Or whoever's on him, dude. Giants are going to pick on that guy, bro. I promise that.
Back here on Draft Center, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Now maybe Shador falls to 21 to the
Miami
Steelers.
Dolphins on the clock.
Who knows? The Broncos are up soon at
Mike
20.
Ann with you. It is time for the Roundup presented by Roundup for Lawns. And yeah, we saw some movement here. Not at the top. The Tennessee Titans doing exactly what we thought, which was take a quarterback named Cam Ward, who goes from a 0-star high school recruit to the #1 overall pick in the draft. Now, going at #2 is Travis Hunter. That wasn't the surprise. The surprise was it was the Jacksonville Jags making that selection. They move up to 2, leaving the Cleveland Browns.
That was crazy, bro.
At
I still
5,
can't
where
believe
they
that.
drafted Mason Graham to help out that defensive line. Let's take you back down to Green Bay.
Alright, see what the Dolphins do. They take a guard, they take a corner, they take a safety. What do they do? I say they take a safety or a cornerback.
Kenneth Grant.
No? Guard?
Defensive tackle, Michigan.
DT?
All right, we were going back and forth with this selection. Lance, you told me,
Is this
hey,
the pick?
safety might be the spot, but a little too early for that. They still go with the big boy up front, though, in terms of Kenneth Grant.
They needed defensive
know if that's
line.
the
In my
pick,
mock, I had
Chad.
Walter Nolan, but in the one right
And my
before, I
dad's
think I had
coming
Kenneth
again. I don't know if
Grant.
that's
I mean,
the
it was
pick,
just a
Chad.
matter of was Walter Nolan on the board for you? If yes, then you were going to pick him. If not, Kenneth Grant. You look at the roster, and it's simple. This is another one of these teams that is really desperate for defensive line. And I have to be honest. I think the tape is a little up and down for Kenneth Grant, but when he's right, he can be dominant. And people at Michigan, inside their
honestly,
building,
I
told
don't
me
know if this was a good
he
pick
plays at the
for the
highest level
Dolphins,
he's
I'm not gonna
possible
lie.
playing at, he will be the best defensive tackle to come out of
I feel like this is somewhat
out of
a
this
reach.
draft. And that includes,
At
his
13.
teammate, obviously, Mason Graham, who we know is just a rock-steady player.
Yeah,
Kenneth Grant
I don't
is
like
big.
this, bro.
He is powerful. And
I don't like
one of the
this, bro.
coaches at
Let's see what
Michigan
the
said,
chat's saying.
Lance, he just doesn't know how big and strong he is yet. It's like the Baby Huey cartoon
pig.
back in the day, Bucky, where once he figures out that he's so much bigger and stronger than the guys across from him at times, he's going to become a problem.
If you're the Miami Dolphins, you're hoping that he can become maybe a Dexter Lawrence type at the point of attack.
That's a good
He is not going to become a Dexter Lawrence. Look at him. He's not even, bro, come on,
who understands what he potentially could have in Grant. And when you think about that division, remember, the division is about Buffalo, and Buffalo has been able to really terrorize them by being able to run up the middle with Josh Allen.
Okay, so Colts pick is in, and the Falcons of Atlanta are now on the clock.
Look at Big Man run. Big Man trying to get out there with those high knees, trying to take it back on the scoop and score. How about Big Grant? I mean, if I know that, I'd move him up a little bit.
Hey, I got to tell you,
and then the Broncos are up soon. I want to see the Broncos pick, man. I kind of like the Broncos.
Grant went this early because I keep 2 Michigan guys are off the board, or 3 Michigan guys are off the board. What am I going to do with my mock draft for Harbaugh? Now I got 3. I got Will Johnson left. That's it in the first round for Michigan guys to the Chargers.
Yeah, we still got a couple picks before that happens. Hey, real quick here, because you've been in some of these draft rooms as a scout too and understand this. Mike McDaniel's an offensive guy. Like, how much push and pull is there for a head coach when that's what he does and they go defense here?
Well, then a lot of the conversation will be Mike McDaniel's going to ask defense coordinator. Is this going to help you give me the ball back? Because if you can give me the ball, more opportunities, hey, I'm about it. And so that's the push and pull. But he understands and knows the weakness of the team. The head coach has to know the entire squad.
Man. Fucking, who are the Colts about to take, bro? Their pick is in. Who does it make sense for the Colts to take?
Go to Commissioner Roger Goodell.
Let me look at my mock. See what I had Tyler Warren, tight end, going here. Oh, he likes that. Good thing there's no eye tracker. Yeah, okay. I had Tyler Warren going here.
With the 14th pick in the
Tyler's still on the board.
2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren.
Oh my God, bro! My mock is cooking, bro. Yo, I cooked on my mock draft, bro.
You told me this is a dude.
Yo, if you guys want to watch the video, it's up on my channel. It's been up for a few days now.
Trying to figure out QB1.
I cooked.
I think they've got to be really excited here. You know, they had 2 of their needs. The big needs, I think, were right guard and tight end. And when Colston,
it was either him or Loveland, but Loveland got taken already at 10 by the
way that
Bears.
it fell, looked like Tyler Warren was going to get to the Colts. I thought it was going to be interesting to see if they would
Colts,
go guard
this is a good
for Tyler
pick right
Warren.
here.
But Tyler Warren, to me, is an extremely safe pick. He is ultra competitive. They're very creative.
Next up, I had
with how they use
Will
them.
Johnson to the Falcons, and then Mike Green to the Cardinals, and then Walter Nolan to the Bengals.
And I'll go get you first downs.
Let's see. I think this could happen. Honestly, those are all very realistic picks.
He's got really good ball skills. It kind of gets lost a little bit. Some of the catches he can make. He makes difficult catches through contact. Very good in the combat catch situations. But what I really like about him, Buck, is right here. He's willing to do the nasty stuff if he needs to, and the dirty work. I think there's still a level that he can unlock. But as you know, it's hard to find those true combo tight ends these days.
Yeah, it's hard to find a true wide tight end. And I think about the conversation that we've had about Chris Ballard, how Chris Ballard loves the prototypical guys at the position. Tyler Warren is a prototype. He's a high school quarterback who made the transition to tight end at Penn State. Now, he's going to have to give up that number 44. Dallas Clark wore that for a long time in Indianapolis. That's not going to be one that's available. So he's going to have to find another throwback number. He cannot be John Riggins in Indianapolis. We'll see what he can come up with. But he is a nice pick to help Anthony Richardson and or Daniel Jones.
Or both.
This could be a fantasy sleeper right
over the
here.
middle of the field. When
Only thing is, his quarterbacks are Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones.
Over the middle that can make the game easy
he might,
for them.
he might stay
Richardson might get a little
might
tap on the helmet.
Well, we got Daniel Jones who can come in there.
Like the
you know
Commanders,
what I
oh
really
my
like
goodness.
is that when you think about this, way back in the day, Troy Aikman had Jay Novacek, and when he was a young quarterback, you had Phillip Rivers had Antonio Gates. I can't remember who the quarterback was for.
Yeah, I'm calling him, man.
Tony
Steelers gonna
Gonzalez.
take Shador.
Who was over there with Kansas
I'm calling
City?
you, bro.
Well, I mean, they had a few, like
Alex
Trent
Smith, I
Green.
guess.
I'm calling
Trent
you, bro.
Green.
Steelers taking Shador.
No, he was gone by then. But having a good young tight end with a good young quarterback, it's a safety blanket. And that's really important because they're bigger targets. They're typically working shorter areas of the field.
Yeah,
and I think that's something
Shador,
Anthony
bro.
Richardson needs. They've actually got some good wide receivers over there. They've just added to it now with a closer target for Richardson.
You guys have been covering the NFL draft for years, and it is a year-to-year event because last year at this time we had 6 quarterbacks taken off the board in the first 12 picks. The Atlanta Falcons were a team that made a ton of noise by drafting Michael Penix. We've only seen 1 off the board in Cam Ward.
Why is it showing
Shador?
Shador?
I don't know if it's next, but it's around the corner at some point.
Bro, I thought Shador was about to get taken right now. I'm like, bro, they have a quarterback. Greedy asses have a quarterback. ATL got Sanders? Yeah, y'all are tripping. Another 2-minute break, bro. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do here, bro? Huh? Maybe y'all want to watch me solve a cube, huh? Y'all want to solve a cube or something? Yeah? Okay. Mix it up, Chad. Mix it up. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. Like, I don't. Hold up. Is there anybody that they take besides Will Johnson, though? Realistically. Alright, my final picks, they either take Will Johnson or Walter Nolan, bro. Those are my final picks. I'm not gonna look at it. Alright, you guys can see it's fully mixed up. I'll start the time at 1:20 so we can track the time better. And I'll start it now. Okay, it's been 15 seconds. Come on, I gotta hurry it up. I'm being slow. I'm being hella slow. I'm choking. Let's go. What was that? 120 minus, what was that, 56? Was that 20? 24 seconds? That's not bad. Chat. I'll take it. I'm gonna do this other one now. Hey, I'm just gonna mix up really quickly. I'm gonna solve it without looking at it. Alright, we'll start at 30. See if I can do this. Alright, let's go. Oh, fuck, this one's cooked. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish this on time. Chat. I'm feeling the pressure. Chat. Oh, God, there's no time. 8 seconds, there's no time. 4 seconds, no, there's no time. No!
Back here on Draft Center, live from Wisconsin. It is the Atlanta Falcons who are on the clock and pick number 15. Lance Erline, Bucky Brooks, and Mike Yam with you. We just saw the Indianapolis Colts grab Tyler Warren. Just for context here, Colston Loveland, number 10 to the Chicago Bears, earliest, and he drafts 2 tight ends, have been selected in the common draft era. So once again, this is a well-thought-of group here, and why not a dude who can kind of sling it with the bat too, guys?
How about that? Like just being able to play a little baseball. You talk about all in his background. I had the quarterback stuff in high school, but now Little League World Series hero. How about that?
Going yard, straightaway center, showing a little pop.
I mean, he looks a little taller and bigger.
I was just going to say, that Little League era, that age range of like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, we might have had to meet at, home plate. Hey, can we see his little birth certificate?
I know. Unfortunately for me,
bro,
I asked my birth certificate and I'm still waiting
the clock
for the growth
still. I can't even speak. The clock is still going.
More importantly, at
10 minutes, they still have made a pick.
That's what they want to talk about.
Oh my God!
Watching
what are they doing?
What's the best direction this team could go in?
They got
How?
Rush, Bucky. I mean,
you really don't know what they're doing.
They got Leonard Floyd on a 1-year deal.
They've had months and months to pick, but they still take the last 10 minutes.
Defensive line. I mean,
how? I don't understand how it's possible for any team. You know who you're getting before today.
They need some.
Why are you taking the full 10 minutes? That makes no sense to me. You've had months. And you take the whole 10-minute clock. Just fucking put your picking, bro.
Position that people consider him. Some people think he can play 4-3. He's really more natural as a 3-4 outside backer. A Georgia player in Atlanta, high football character, good rusher, very fast. That seems like it would be tailor-made here. Is Jalen Walker, if you
Jalen Walker would fit the.
Remember, Jeff Ulbrich takes over his defense.
Well, I was gonna say Panthers, bro. Jalen Walker would fit the Falcons.
In New York, talk about the Jets.
I could see Jalen Walker as a Falcon.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
At some point in Atlanta, we have to get a pass rush.
or two.
Like every single year. I was down there for training camp, and we were having this conversation. We thought there might be some improvement there, Judon, right? Like that didn't necessarily still 31st in sacks. I think we showed that graphic a little bit earlier. Got to figure out ways to get to the quarterback, and the reality is this is a gettable division, right? Like I think all these teams are sitting there going, and I know they're looking up at Tampa Bay, but probably saying to themselves, we're just maybe 1 or 2 players away. From an Atlanta perspective, they thought that was the case with Kirk Cousins. Didn't necessarily.
And they just hurry up and show the pick,
please,
Penix
now, and it is his show. And there's still maybe a move that happens with Kirk Cousins. So once again, Atlanta Falcons. Maybe it's on the defensive side. Let's take you to Green Bay right now and officially find out who it is. Oh, my apologies. We're still a couple seconds away. I thought we were going to go with that selection here. All right, so you say Walker. Hey, real quick, because I know you made reference to this. Georgia player in the state. Like, how much of a factor is that when?
None. He has to be a really good player. Like, they don't do that. Like, if they had done that, imagine how many good players they could have taken. When they could have taken Justin Fields and all the other guys. Carter, I mean, they've had plenty of opportunities to take homegrown talent.
But they know him. They've seen him a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, officially official. Let's take it to Green Bay.
All right, come on now, bro. Enough dilly-dally. Come on, man. Let's see.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker,
That's a good
defensive
pick.
end, Georgia.
That's a great pick.
All right, you forecasted it, looked into the crystal ball. Lance Erline, you said Jalen Walker is going to be the selection. Bucky, you said it to me. Hey, it doesn't matter that he played at Georgia. Can he play? Reality is, it's kind of a win-win across the board, and it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it just made the most sense. He can rush off the edge. Like I said, at Georgia, they are just.
I had Jalen Walker falling to 19 to the Bucs.
The character he brings to the game and the leadership. But
I like that.
What he is he's a very explosive, versatile piece. In today's NFL, explosiveness is key, and versatility is right behind it. If you can play, you used to be a tweener. Some people would call him a tweener. Other teams will say he's versatile. We can go odd front, even front with him. We can stack him, or we can bring him off the edge. And I think that he's still got to get better playing linebacker. He still has to, as a true off-ball linebacker. But that may not be in the cards for him with the Atlanta Falcons. They may just say, we want you to go rush. Mostly, we want you to get the quarterback. He gave Kelvin Banks a lot of problems when they went up against Texas, because you just don't have guys that explosive and quick very often off the edge. He's only 240 some odd pounds right there. So he's longer arms than you expected, about 33 inches. I thought this just made perfect sense for the Falcons, and they've got to be happy he lasted this long.
They have to be happy. I think the stat that is running right there, PFF talks about 50-50 when it comes to his alignment at inside linebacker and edge. Hard to do at the NFL level as a defense coordinator to try and script in those snaps as an off-ball linebacker and edge player. It'll be interesting to see how Raheem.
But that whole Georgia defense is so crazy, bro. Do you guys see that?
Put together the game plan to allow him to be the player.
No, Jalen Walker's legit.
I like that. I like the explosiveness. There's no denying that part.
Yeah, I mean, great athlete. You're seeing it showcased right here. When you can start hurdling human beings and dunk on them, not to mention combine that with the ability to get after the quarterback, that's definitely a win. Terry Fontenot, who you could see there, the team's general manager, once again, I think shocking the NFL world a season ago with their first selection in Michael Penix. This one more in line with what we thought. How close are they, at least in your guys' mind, based off of the roster, based off of the changes at the DC spot, to really go and take this division?
Has to be on Michael Penix. As Michael Penix becomes the starter now, we'll have an opportunity to see how good he is and how good this offense can be. For years, they've kind of put together pieces on offense where we're like, okay, you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, they have other playmakers, Bijan Robinson, and this offense is ready to go. Well, now it comes down to the point guard, Michael Penix. If Michael Penix plays and performs like an elite level player within this offense to go to the next level, and they'll be good enough, even without an elite defense, to get it done. To me, their hopes hinge on the development of Michael Penix in year 2 as a starter.
All right.
Yeah, and also I think that it's worth noting that this is a team that needs to get more out of Kyle Pitts at some point. He's got so much talent. It hasn't materialized, and if it doesn't materialize, it makes it harder for Michael Penix. But it's nice to have Bijan Robinson sitting there as well. But this is it's a winnable division. But Bucky just said it. I mean, it's all on the quarterback, and look at their foresight, because now they could have a tradable piece in Kirk Cousins, maybe even on draft day. You never know. And I said, what are you doing with Michael Penix here? Well, it looks like they knew what they were doing by having Michael Penix that early in the draft last year. And now they're trying to get the rush. So, they keep swinging at certain positions, but you have to. You have to get the rush right.
Hey, real quick here, because you made reference to Penix a year ago and you being a little on the fence about that selection. How did Penix, in terms of your grades, compare to the top guys that we're talking about?
No, it's interesting. I was actually lower. I actually have a lower grade on. I have Shedeur slightly ahead of Michael Penix coming out. Well, I was really worried about all the injuries for Michael Penix. We forget Michael Penix had a tremendous amount of. He was a six-year player.
Six-year player. I think
a six-year player.
Three season-ending
injuries.
Very similar to Tyler Shutt. So that conversation was different with Michael Penix. I had him a little higher because when I saw him at his best, one, he had big hands, and when you watched him in the playoffs against Texas, he lit Texas.
He was
up
phenomenal,
and that kind of lets you know what potentially he could be at the next level.
Yeah. But that's a good question because it was such a deep quarterback draft last year. But Michael Penix, to me, Shedeur's just on the outer portions of this year's draft. But Michael Penix was right there. But obviously the Falcons, liked him a little bit more than me. I had Bo Nix was the only.
Come on, man, get the pick going, Cardinals. Fuck.
All right, we had the conversation about teams that maybe go and move up. We've only seen one trade. Arizona right now on the clock. Just for context, since we were talking about quarterbacks, Buck, Arizona here, Cincinnati, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Denver. None of those teams thinking quarterback. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when we start talking about Shedeur Sanders, maybe a Jackson Dart.
That's the only spot. I mean, the only spot we're talking about right now is Pittsburgh. That's the only one we know that for sure needs a quarterback.
Meanwhile, the Arizona Cardinals, we know they got Kyler. Who's making their way to Arizona to help him out?
All right, see, come on. Who are they taking? Come on.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter
There
Nolan,
he is, finally.
defensive tackle,
Finally, Walter Nolan
Mississippi.
gets picked, bro. He's one of my favorite players in this class. Come on, there he is.
So the Arizona Cardinals looking for reinforcements on the defensive
Finally, he got
side.
drafted,
Last year during the draft, Buck, it felt like Arizona made more selections than any other team. Every time I looked up, Arizona now on the clock. In this instance, in this first round, kid out of Ole Miss. What do you like about him?
I like him.
Well, he was the #1 recruit in the country when he came out. When you watch him, he has all the talent that you want as a interior pass rusher. Excellent first step quickness, great hand quickness, nice burst to finish. He does a lot of stuff at the point of attack where you can see him develop into a dominant player. When we talk about the explosive knockback, that's all about the violence in the hands,
is a good pick right here,
the way
bro.
that he's able to get there.
This is a
Talk about
good
the
pick
disruption.
right here.
It's the ability to create consistent penetration.
People in the chat
versus the
saying,
run
who?
game and the pass.
I don't like
And
you.
then
I don't
he's
like
just
you.
so
They just don't
athletic.
know, bro.
There is
This
so
guy's good,
much
though.
that he brings to the
This
table.
guy's
As a
good,
defensive
though.
line coach, man, he is salivating to have the opportunity to work with someone as talented as this kid.
Yeah, he's the best defensive tackle in the draft. There have been 2 defensive tackles that have gone ahead of him, but on tape, those guys don't really touch him, not in my opinion. Walter Nolan was one of the few 6.7 grade players that I had, which is Pro Bowl potential. And on tape, incredibly disruptive for all the reasons Bucky said.
Yeah,
incredible power and explosiveness off the point. But you have to be okay with there's some questions about maturity. That's the only reason he wasn't one of the top 6 picks in this year's draft.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Cincinnati Bengals
I don't
who
think
are
they're
on the
going
clock
to.
might
They
be
never do that type of
cringing
stuff.
because we know they needed some help on the defensive
never.
side. Nolan might have been a guy that they were considering with that pick. Which direction are they going to go? The answer to that is coming up next as you see some of the sights and sounds, or at least the sights of what's happening in Green Bay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you have to take best player. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. I think Steelers take Shedeur though. They don't have anybody. Not Justin Fields on the Jets, I think. Yeah. Bengals on the clock, chat. Let's see what they're doing. I can't believe Shedeur is falling this low, though. Wow. He was supposed to be a top pick. Like, actual top pick. Like, 1, 2 overall. It's kind of crazy. I'm tired of these commercials, bro. Yeah, what? Alright, come on, man. Let's get back into it, bro. Come on, bro. Who's on the clock? Is it Bengals right now?
Back
Bengals
here on Draft
is
Center,
Seahawks
Bucky
on the
Brooks,
clock.
Lance Zierlein, Mike Yam with you. Here's a look at what we had so far through 16 picks. Not a whole lot of surprises at 1, 2, and 3. Maybe the biggest surprise is who was selecting at number 2. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars pulling off the only trade that we have seen so far in round number 1, moving from 5 to 2, which left the Cleveland Browns selecting Mason Graham with the 5th overall selection. Currently, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. In our break, I was asking Lance and Bucky, hey, which direction does this team maybe decide to go in? In my mind, it was sort of clear, like, hey, this team has struggled on the defensive side. You guys also talked a little bit, too, about on the offensive line there, specifically at that tackle spot. Based off of the combination of need and available players, what's the best selection here?
See what the Bengals do here.
Man, they need a pass rusher opposite Trey Hendrickson in the worst way.
Yeah.
And there are a few guys available. Mike Green, who was the leader,
Yeah,
the sack leader, he certainly would fit the bill in terms of giving them someone that has production, has a high motor, would be the
Don't say something stupid.
finesse pass rusher opposite the power rusher and Trey Hendrickson.
Don't say something
He would
so
be an interesting
stupid.
fit for me.
He's a good, I mean, we're talking about somebody incredibly productive.
Oh,
And I think a really, really good football player. So Mike Green would make a lot of sense here. They do need guard, though, in a bad way. And you've got Gray Zabel, who is a very, I think, a pretty safe
Get out of my
guard,
room.
and Donovan Jackson sitting
Get
there
out
as
of my
well.
room.
So it could, I think Trench
I knew
is
some
the
bullshit was
direction
coming,
they'll
bro. Get
probably
out of
go.
my room, bro.
Zabel, just in case you're not familiar, North Dakota State
Literally
Bison
get out.
guard, big kid too, just over 6'5", and certainly has some of the buzz heading into this first round of the NFL draft. The Cincinnati Bengals.
All right,
Is it
so I
going
had the
to be
Bengals taking
on
Walter
the
Nolan
offensive
here, but
line,
he
or
just
do
got
they find
taken,
that
so
edge
maybe they
player
take
that
another
certainly they need
another
in the
defensive
worst way?
player.
Here's the answer.
Let's see, bro.
With the 17th pick in the 2025
Let's see.
NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart,
Okay.
defensive end, Texas A&M.
Okay.
There's
Kind of makes sense. So Walter Nolan's being gone.
There's the
It
edge.
does make sense for
I
them
mean,
to
there's
take
a
Shamar
defensive
Stewart.
lineman. There's the traits.
I think this is also a good
Maybe they
pick
see
right
Carlos
here.
Dunlap.
Bengals defense was so bad.
Although
We
this
needed
is
this
a really
right here.
freaky,
This is a
freaky
great
guy,
pick for the
Bucky.
Bengals, bro.
I'm curious,
I
before
like
we break
this.
him down, there's very few players that you're going to see come out of the draft that have the athletic ability
I like
and
this
the
pick.
explosiveness that Shamar Stewart showed us at the combine. Rare
This guy's good,
explosiveness in his hips, first step quickness. He's got the ability to be disruptive, cross-face tackles. There's all this stuff that you love. He's big. He can play 285 pounds if he wants. We listed him 267. That's what it was at the combine. He played closer to 290, and it wasn't a problem. The problem we have with him, Bucky, and that everyone asks, where was the production with all those traits?
I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, like, he is a guy when we go fishing, we get a lot of fish, but we can never bring the fish in the boat. So we have a successful venture because, hey, man, you hooked a lot of them, but you just didn't get them, and I opened up the ice chest, and there are no fish. There's no red snapper in the thing, and so I don't know what to do with him. He might be able to turn all of that potential into production. But, man, he's going to have to study the guy that is on the opposite side of the field, Trey Hendrickson, a lot to be able to add some of that to his game.
That's nice, though, isn't it? Because Trey is a technician, and he's a tactician. And so isn't it nice to be – now, I will say, in Houston, Mario Williams famously, like, never really went to J.J. Watt to ask him for advice and help on, you know, to do this or do that. So it's up to the rookie to go the veteran. Well, sometimes it's up to the veteran to really go and try to get the rookie to buy in. You made an interesting comparison, though, when you talked about Shamar Stewart, though, when you compared him to a Green Bay edge rusher.
Who did I compare it to? Oh,
Gary.
Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary has been one of the guys who has been able to do that, to take a non-productive collegiate career and translate it to pro bowl accolades.
Getting tired, bro.
So what was that? What is in the secret sauce? Because he's not the only guy that we've talked about.
No, I mean, it's a combination. It's a combination of factors. Like, it's going to the right place. It's having the right D-line coach, playing in the right scheme.
Seahawks on the clock still.
Sometimes in college, guys don't play in a scheme that necessarily highlights them. Shamar Stewart is intriguing because all of the athletic traits are there, all of the tools that you look for, the position are there. He has pressures. He doesn't have the final production that you want.
And Bucks opens moving back. Cowboys, or not Cowboys, Giants, please move up, bro.
Giants, he came out of Penn State, had 0 sacks his last year. Phenomenal tester. Ran into 4.4s, absolutely killed it. The Ravens took him, and it took a little while for him, but he hit the double-digit sack mark this year. So sometimes it just takes a little while. I'm friends with one of their analytics guys, their sports science guys, and he told me one of the issues that Shamar has is that his change of direction, he gets going so fast and he doesn't gear down for body control. And so
Seahawks trade the pick to the Giants, please.
I asked him, I said, Craddock, is
please,
that something that can be
Seahawks.
fixed? He said, yeah, it can be fixed. He said,
Seahawks,
you see
please.
it, but it's hard sometimes because instinctively, guys,
Seahawks,
instinctively, there are some guys who just
all
gas, no brakes. And that's one of the things that he's going to have to understand is learning to dial it back a little bit because he's got so much in the tank. He's got so much explosiveness that he can go at 85% and probably get more done than at 100% because he controls it better.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and I feel like in finally pulling up these numbers for Chop Robinson because I felt like it was a little bit of that same conversation.
Come on, man.
Tested really well. Production in terms of the stats.
Their pick is in. Never mind. They're not
Obviously,
trading.
He's had a pretty good
Seahawks aren't trading shit.
Start with the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock right now.
I saw the Seahawks.
This is a team who, once again, has already made some moves. We know that it is Sam Darnold, not going to be Geno Smith, who is leading the charge. You think about some of the needs. Offensive line, wide receiver, got a brand new wide receiver room in Seattle. Corner, safety, certainly some of those positions that this team could go in. Is there a name that you sort of like?
They're so wide open, man. They have so many different guys that you can go, and I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to think.
You had Zabel actually on your
Great Zabel is certain there. Is that a little? It seems like a little soon for Zabel, but Zabel's ability to play center could help them.
All right, who's the selection? Back to Green Bay we go.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Gray Zabel.
the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State.
Definitely.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say this: like,
I'm not going to do the final iteration of my mock draft because my 3.0 was much better than my 4.0. Like, because what happens, you get to the end and everyone's like, oh, we got to freshen it up and this and that. And 3.0, I emptied the bucket, and now here I am. I'm going to have a bunch of these misses because I had Gray Zabel going there. The guy has 5 position flexibility. He can play anywhere on the offensive line that you want to see. Small school standout, dominated when he had opportunity at the Senior Bowl. Very impressive during his time. He's going to have a chance to start somewhere on that offensive line.
He, you know, I mentioned this in Path to the Draft, Bucky. He was one of those guys that I was lower on getting out of tape, and then I get to the Senior Bowl, and this is what you do in the process. You know, sometimes you're too low on a guy, you're too high on a guy. You get where it's good.
Bro, come on, Buccaneers, trade the pick to the Giants,
he was
please,
not
bro.
out of place at all.
Please,
FCS,
bro.
Tackle,
Please,
guard, center
man.
prospect.
Come
He'll be a center
on,
guard. He'll be a
bro.
guard for
I'm
Seattle.
dying
They have a
for
desperate
it.
need for a guard right now, but
I'm
play
dying
center,
for
might
it,
be able
bro.
to get you out of a game at tackle if it's an emergency.
Joe, shit,
But what he
make
really
something
showed,
happen,
that was Josh
man.
Farmer he
Please,
was doing a
bro.
number on just a while ago.
Oh my
That's a guy who's going to from Toledo who is Alexander, who's going to go in the second round, a defensive tackle. And Gray Zabel had great reps against all these guys. I don't remember a bad rep at the Senior Bowl in one-on-ones. That's how good he was.
You know, I actually had an opportunity just getting ready. Buck, you and I were together for the East West Shrine Bowl, and Tim Polasek, I had an opportunity to talk to him about his quarterback, but I couldn't.
Come on,
Zabel's
man.
name just kind of popped up. You're talking about an offensive line guy who really takes a lot of pride in coaching those dudes up. So certainly not a huge shocker that we are talking about Zabel.
Please
as a
just get the
first-round
Giants this
selection
pick,
with
bro.
the Seattle Seahawks.
Please.
Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are on the clock right now. Then we
Please,
have Denver
Buccaneers,
and
you're on the clock.
Pittsburgh.
Please
And
trade
at
this to the
21, is that
Giants,
where
bro.
we see Shedeur Sanders, or maybe even a Jackson Dart? Hear his name called. Those selections are still to come here on Draft Center.
Oh my God, I can't, bro. The intensity, bro. I can't do it, bro. Alright, I'm gonna take a piss real quick, chat. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Call that. Damn, I didn't pick up. I was fucking myself. Kitty. Alright, chat, we are back. Come on, I think the pick is in, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Bucks pick is in, so there goes any chance of the Giants trading with them. Unfortunately. Okay, so Giants definitely just lost Shedeur. Shedeur is going to go to the Steelers in a few picks.
Back here
man,
on Draft
bro,
Center,
come
Lance
on.
Line, Bucky Brooks, and Mike Yam with you. The Tampa Bay Bucks. Looks like the pick is in, which we will get to in just a moment. Remember, another division crown for them.
Bucks pick is in.
10-7 campaign. They lost to the Commanders in the wild card round on turf. Of course, Washington having just a ridiculous campaign based off of what we saw last year at this time, drafting Jaden Daniels. Time for Draft Buzz, presented by Goodyear. Trevor Lawrence loving the selection, and why not a Travis Hunter? He's got a dude that's going to get a whole lot of reps on both offense and defense. Drake May, certainly a reason for him to smile. Maybe the best tackle in this class. And Will Campbell, the 4th overall selection to help him out. Kirby Smart, like, yeah, my dude, Mykel Williams, the dude can ball. He is to the Bay Area now. San Francisco bounds. The defensive end certainly going to help an offensive line that needs it. All right, the rejected will be respected. Prime?
Had that in the
Oh,
fold.
Deion's pissed.
Yeah, that in the drafts ready to send.
Yeah, we ready.
Was that Prime or was this the son, right?
Yeah. It does feel like we're waiting. And what the
He
antithesis
said,
of what we saw
He
a
didn't
year
want to
ago
confront.
draft, right?
It wasn't
6
even Deion. It was
quarterbacks
said
taken
Deion
in the
Sanders
first
Jr. If you guys
12.
can't
We're
read, that was
sitting
his son.
here now at pick number 19. And the only selection was Cam Ward at that quarterback spot. Maybe
Bucks had to take Golden here, bro. Matthew Golden, you have to
it's
take
need.
him.
Which teams
If
need
you
a
don't take him,
quarterback? A lot of the
maybe
teams
take
address their
someone on the
quarterback situation in
defense.
free agency, and so it
Let me
gave
see
them the
who's still
freedom
even
to
available.
take the best player available. And when we looked at the draft coming in, we said, look, if he doesn't go to
You could take
Tennessee,
Will Johnson, you could take Mike Green.
At 9. It was gonna
But
be a
if you
long
don't
wait.
take either
And
Will
now we're sitting
Johnson
here
or
looking at
Mike Green,
21 with the
take
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Matthew
If it doesn't
Golden.
happen for the Pittsburgh
Buccaneers,
Steelers,
trust me.
then it's anybody's guess
Trust
when
me,
he
trust
or
me, trust
Jackson
me.
Dart go off the board.
To be clear here, like, you think Pittsburgh's taking a quarterback?
I mean, I think so, but I'm in the room. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, we still got a couple more picks before we get there. Tampa Bay, let's find out who they selected.
Come on. Has to be Golden, bro. Come on, Golden time. Matthew Golden, wide receiver.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka
Wow.
Egbuka, wide receiver,
Bucks taking a
Ohio State.
Bro, this is a good pick right here. This is a
All
good
right,
pick.
so
He
according
fits
to
the
the mock-
Bucks perfectly, bro.
What's wrong?
No, nothing wrong. Look,
wow.
this
Surprise.
I am a little surprised, although maybe
I'm a
not
little
necessarily
surprised
about
too.
the destination. Although when I go to NFL.com and I see all these needs and they all happen to be on the defensive side for
Wow,
the Tampa
I had the
Bay
Bucks
Buccaneers,
taking
they decide
Jalen
to go with the
Walker.
wide receiver, who,
But
by the
he got
way,
taken
depending on the time of the
already,
year,
obviously.
you know, this
Wow.
is one of the guys that we were talking about is
Okay.
definitely a first-round guy, maybe not a day one
Listen,
guy.
I think it's a good
it turns
pick
out
right
it
here,
is
bro.
official. 19
Right
He's
here.
really been rising in the process. I think once coaches got into the process,
This guy's
Bucky will
solid.
tell you, coaches sometimes can see it different than front office, or
Those
they
are two running
prioritize
backs off
different
this team
things.
that are also very
Egbuka
solid.
is a
Potential day
team-first
two
player.
running backs.
He is one of those players who is very, very clean. He checks a lot of boxes. Pedigree. He is polished. He is going to be
Wow, I didn't
first
think
in,
he'd be the
last out
first
type of
wide
work
receiver
ethic.
off the
He
board,
is
though.
going to be a slot on the next level. You look at what they have right now. And
Damn.
You've got Godwin is there at the slot
Oh
right
my
now.
God, bro.
Jalen
Fucking
McMillan
throat.
is outside. I mean, you could make the argument, why are you drafting a wide receiver? Well, obviously they know that you have to score
I did not
to
think
win
he'd
at
be
the
the
highest
first receiver
level
off the board.
against the best teams. And what Tampa
Did not
looks like they're
expect
doing
that.
is saying, let's just go get some more firepower.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have firepower to win in the NFL.
All right,
right
man.
now.
This
It's
is
it's
now
a
time
must.
for the
And Philadelphia's
Broncos
not
and the
going away.
Steelers.
I
Broncos
don't
on the
think
clock.
Washington's going away anytime
Steelers.
soon. I think they're going to keep getting
Dude,
stronger
don't
and
take
stronger.
Shador, Steelers, please,
and
bro.
they're, you know, and they're
Please,
in the
bro.
NFC, and then if you do make it into the AFC, if you end up playing in a Super Bowl, you know
I'll be
you're going to
actually
be playing
so
a
mad,
powerhouse
bro.
coming from over there. So it's a little surprising. I thought they might go a defensive back like Jahdae Barron, but you know, once again, this is a really clean prospect that coaches love.
Clean prospect, but let's be real. Like, Mike Evans is 31 years old. His contract allows him to be a free agent in 2026. If you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you want to be prepared for that. They re-signed
That's a
Chris
good
Godwin.
point. Mike Evans
So
is
now,
there
if Mike
forever.
Evans departs, you now have a starting wide receiver. And look, he's a slot machine. He's the perfect number 3 to go alongside Godwin and Evans. To me, Baker Mayfield, this offense, they want to go to the
Godwin
next
and
level. They
Evans.
just
What
wanna
about
keep
Sterling
going to the division
Shepard?
round. They want to move and advance offensively.
Sterling
This
Shepard's
upgrades their
nothing?
offense so they can score more points with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it is interesting, though,
fucked up.
because Chris Godwin, you're not getting rid of that contract. It's, you know, he's going to be there for this year and the next year as well. So I
Yep.
think what they've got is 3 wide receivers. I don't know what happens with Jalen McMillan.
Who had a really good season.
Yeah.
Yes, I've
it's-
seen it.
it's-
That's why I knew you
it's
were
a
gonna say
wealth of
something
riches,
stupid.
I guess, right now.
Welcome to the league. This is what happens.
Bucky
No, I
Richards,
seen
I mean,
something.
Bucky,
Move on.
Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield's happy, I can tell you that.
Well, first wide receiver taken by the Bucks in the first round since Mike Evans in 2014. The rest of the picks in round 1 are still to come.
I'll take some of the grilled nuggets. Yeah, please. It's fine. You're not allowed just the nuggets. Dude, and there's another 2-minute break, bro. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? I want to get through every pick in this round, bro, but it's taking mad long. It's been 2 hours, bro. And the Broncos are on the clock. Dude, Steelers. Oh my god, bro. Steelers are gonna take Shador, bro. Oh, I already know Steelers are gonna take Shador, bro. Fuck. God, still 50 seconds, bro. What is up with all these breaks, man? Just finish the damn first round. How much time do you guys need to milk it for, bro? I guarantee you guys don't struggle with views like that. Come on. 30 seconds? Oh my god. Can't believe Shador hasn't been picked yet, bro. That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, kind of not really crazy. Don't know how to explain it. Really don't know how to explain it. Oh man, I'm happy with the Giants though, bro. Abdul Carter, you have to take him if you're in that position at 3. Like, bro, man, you just have to, bro. When you have who got picked first, obviously Cam Ward, and then second was fucking Travis Hunter with the trade between Cleveland and Jacksonville.
Back here on Draft Center, along with Bucky Brooks and Lance Zierlein, Mike Yam with
anything other than Abdul Carter
on the clock.
When
you think
Travis
about what
Hunter's off the board is a reach. We're not in a position to take Jency
in the NFL at that safety position from San Francisco.
Carter got taken in the second
Dre Greenlaw, another San Francisco
my throw was still kind of
also there, and they also brought in Evan Ingram.
If Carter got taken in the second pick, then I see you take Hunter.
This team's going to be elevated here. I feel like every time we did a mock draft
looking at it right now, Will Cam with the Patriots. Everything's made sense so far. There's been a couple picks that I don't really understand, like the Bears taking Colston Loveland. I don't really. I'm not sure I feel about that. Cowboys taking Tyler Booker. I'm not sure I feel about that. Dolphins taking Kenneth Graham. Not sure I feel about that. And Seattle taking Grady Zabel. Not sure I feel about that. There's been some questionable picks. There have been some questionable picks.
Yeah. I'm just saying, what if they want a running back, but maybe
running back is a need. I mean, running back is it should be the pick, frankly, because you look at what they have on the roster, and running back makes sense. That's an interesting point, though, because 2 very different types of running backs. You got a hammerhead, and you got the dynamic, explosive 3-down guy.
Yeah, Tecmo and Johnny Carson, you guys are aging yourselves. Back to the back.
True, that's true.
Let's see what they take.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, if they don't, then take Golden.
April is World Wish Month.
Let's see.
And the NFL
Either way,
is proud
Broncos
to
are in a
support
position
the
where they can take a
life-changing
playmaker.
wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. Yes.
You said yes.
One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, let's go Broncos. Thank you. All right.
What's in the chat, Zambo Knicks?
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
Okay.
You think you know, and you know nothing.
Oh my God! I did not see that coming. Broncos about to have lockdown secondary.
Once again, we thought it was going to be running back.
Oh my God! No flights in Denver, bro.
It's definitely
no
a need,
flights in Denver,
really
bro.
Deep running back draft too. So keep that in mind, and that could be one of the thoughts that go here. Jahdae Barron has tremendous range. He sees the ball extremely well, and we're seeing that in these highlights. He's got the ability to play outside, to play on the slot.
I did not expect that, bro.
Which is the nickel, which is something they need. And he
no flights in Denver.
Three-position
it's a
versatility.
lockdown.
He showed tremendous toughness in terms of coming up and tackling, not only supporting the run, but coming up.
That's a bang right there, bro. I don't know if anyone expected that.
The other thing I love about Jahdae
Barron
is
a bang right
he's got really good the old click and close, the old plant and drive.
Wow.
And you see all the ball skills. Look, 8 interceptions, 24 pass breakups for his career. Buck, you got to have instincts, but you got to have a little burst to
This guy's
get
a
to
dog,
the catch.
bro.
Now, this is all about Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, who is a great DB coach. This is about him looking at his unit and saying, look, I got a defensive player of the year on one side and Pat Surtain. I need somebody who can handle the heat on the other side because they're not going to keep throwing on Pat Surtain's side. So the other guy must be able to stand up and weather the storm. Jahdae Barron has the right temperament, the right technique, the right attitude to be able to do that, and the versatility.
I did not expect that at
being
all,
able to play
bro.
in the slot, maybe as some
That
safety.
one caught me off guard.
He answers. He addresses a lot of needs in the back end because he is so versatile. And, like I think we interviewed him on Path to the Draft, high IQ player. Man, you like him, smart, tough, and tenacious.
I'm looking through here the rest of this first round. Hampton, I don't know if gets selected as a first round running back now.
You see number 22?
I think Eagles might take Hampton, not gonna lie.
I'm saying
Steelers
22,
about to take
I'm saying
Shador.
27.
Okay.
I'm calling it right now.
Ravens.
Steelers about to take Shador.
26.
Okay.
The Rams.
All right, we still got some time there.
Well, Kyron Williams is throwing the phone at you right now. He's looking at a draft somewhere. What are you talking
about?
Like, I'm ready to get my
got a
big
dude.
deal, and you're over here trying to get him up out of there.
The streets are saying, the streets. It's not me, Kyron. It's the streets.
So basically, Lance is saying on his drive into our studio with SoFi Stadium that way as our neighbors, he heard something from a fan that was yelling.
I mean, the production's off the charts for Kyron Williams. No doubt. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know, maybe the Rams want to.
I mean, Kyron Williams
want a more explosive running back.
He may wants a little change, and they're like, nah.
All I'm going to say is we are finally at pick 21. I've been waiting for this selection.
What's the significance of this pick?
So about to ruin my
I'm
night
sitting here
chat.
going a year ago, I watched 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12, and now all of a sudden I got one at
There's
one.
more life in quarterbacks.
Look, you know who you're talking to.
You know
Believe
what
me,
it is.
I'm with you there 100%. But this is one of the intriguing storylines. Shador Sanders, is it going to be him? Jackson Dart was
stop
linked to
talking
this
about
team.
Shador.
I don't know. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers
Please.
who's going to be the guy from Mike Tomlin. But I know in
Please
the long
stop.
term, A.A. is not necessarily the guy that I think I'm comfortable rolling with. It feels like this is the time we're going to be talking about a quarterback. Which one is it? I lean on you guys to tell me which direction they should lean.
Man, this is one where, I mean, you got DK Metcalf, you had George Pickens out there, but man, what's the need to have that if you don't have the thing?
I mean, supposedly Mike
They're gonna
Tomlin really
take
likes
Shador,
Shador
bro.
Sanders. It makes the most sense right here. I don't think Jackson Dart's a great fit for what they do.
What's going on here? All right, let's find out who it is.
Oh my God, the suspense is killing me, chat.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon.
Oh my God, Steelers win defense.
Okay, so as I've been telling you guys for hours leading into the draft, the
win
Pittsburgh
defense.
Steelers are not going to take a quarterback at
Twitter owes me an apology. Did
you have this?
He was great defense.
No, but I had Shedeur in the 20s this whole time.
So you did have him 29 on Mach 1.0, if I'm not mistaken. And I said, come on.
No. He was. I had Mach 1.0s with the Raiders.
Before we talk about Shedeur, let's get Derek Harmon this dude now.
Oh my God.
Tuned in and everyone is watching.
No, you're right.
Derek Harmon,
Thank you.
transfer from Michigan State, came over. Look. Disruptive player at the point of attack. And we talk about the brand of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Bro, we can't actually get Shedeur, bro.
It ain't rough and rugged, it ain't him. This dude gets after it at Oregon. He comes down. He loves it. I love
no
what
hope
he
for the
can
Giants.
do. Playing alongside Cam Hayward.
That's
and maybe
Cap.
eventually
We can actually get our
Cam
quarterback
Hayward
now.
as that 5 technique for the future.
Bucky, when I pull up what was said about him, you'll love it, because what was said about Derek Harmon was I talked to an NFL personnel guy who told me this guy is either a Steeler or a Raven. He said this is what he looks like. And when you look at it, the quote was, he plays like a Raven or a Steeler. Off the tape, he reminds me of a young Cam Hayward. But bigger.
Look at Lance.
But bigger. That's not me.
Look at Lance.
It was an NFC executive said that. And you know what? That's what they like. He's the kind of guy they like, because he's a drain clogger in terms of a run stopper, and he just is built and looks like a Steeler. He feels like a Steeler.
The Harmon family, I apologize. I get it. Bucky Brooks now.
I'm pretty sure they have the first pick of the second round.
We loved up Derek Harmon.
Let me look.
Who the Chargers are going to take? That's next.
Browns. Yeah, it's Browns, Giants, Titans, Browns again. Yeah, because they traded with with Jaguars. They have the first and the fourth pick in the second round. Yeah, so we're right after the Browns. We're 34. Probably, yeah. Unless Giants trade up real quick, but I doubt it. Yeah. I don't know. Giants apparently want Dart though now. Yeah. I know. Well, Chargers aren't taking him. I mean, nobody in the first round needs a quarterback at all. Nobody's gonna take him. Browns are gonna take him unless Giants trade up and make a move. Yeah, if he doesn't, yeah, he's gonna go first pick tomorrow. Damn. I know, what the hell? I know, that was crazy. They got Travis Hunter. I mean, they got a whole nother pick. Maybe they didn't want him that badly. Yeah. And who did they take? They took who did they take? They took defensive Graham anyway, so like he was gonna be there too anyways.
Giving us the 2025 NFL Draft over the next couple days.
Defensive tackle Mason Graham.
Fans converging
They took
on
him
that
at 5
city to
anyways.
enjoy one of our favorite times of the year. The fans that were there, well, they got to watch some fun. Time for FedEx Air and Ground Players to Watch, presented by FedEx. No drama at the top. There was so much speculation that the Tennessee Titans would take their quarterback in Cam Ward. They did exactly just that. The first wide receiver taken off the board. Ted McMillan out of Arizona, 8th overall, going to the Carolina Panthers. And we saw some more firepower in the air.
I don't know. I want to, but I doubt it.
Overall,
Giants never do that.
Bucks, first wide receiver that the Tampa Bay Bucks have drafted in the first round since Mike Evans. could be the replacement in a couple seasons for the future Hall of Famer. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock with the 22nd overall pick. Coach Harbaugh, you got to imagine, guys, you think about the running attack, you think about some of the big uglies as well. Which direction do you think they go?
Oh, this is the time. I mean, I know they got Najee
I know,
Harris,
right?
and he's been.
I thought Steelers were for sure taking him.
Najee Harris since his days as a college coach, but to add another running back to the mix, this will allow him to do what he's traditionally done. They like to pound it. They want to run the rock. They want to control the clock. They want to dictate the terms to the opposition. Amari Hampton would appear to be a great fit if he's there at 22. Like, why? I mean, he's right there for them. Why not take him?
Well, because I'll tell you why. How about the fact that you need maybe a little bit more wide receiver help, and Matthew Golden's on the board.
Yeah.
You need cornerback help, and Will Johnson, formerly of Michigan,
that's a good one,
is on the board. Who you know, and you know, Ben Herbert, the strength coach, knows all about what his speed numbers are and all the things that other guys don't know because he never ran. He never ran in the draft process. He said he had the hamstring or whatever it was. So. You know Will Johnson. You recruited Will Johnson. You know what his athletic numbers are that other people may not know. I think this is an interesting pick because you got Will Johnson with the connection. You got Omarion Hampton, who plays, frankly, the bully ball that that Harbaugh loves, and then you have Matthew Golden, who would be a nice addition for the quarterback there, as somebody who can stretch the field.
Can I just throw a hypothetical out there? Because the Chargers pick in the second round at 55, you guys have been telling me it's a deep running back class.
It is.
Do you wait? Is there a gap between Hampton, the kind of the rest of the group?
So that's why you have these conversations. You have to know how deep the draft is, and then you have to project when there's going to be runs on different positions. So Quinshon Judkins could be there. Sampson, I don't know if Sampson from Tennessee is...
Oh, Dylan Sampson.
Dylan Sampson, if he is as big at 200 pounds, 205 pounds. I mean, this is the guy who has... Omarion Hampton's the guy that has the size, the juice, the power that really speaks. And frankly, he never had a back like that. Harbaugh did in Michigan. He never had that type of size, explosiveness. He got it done with Corum and Haskins and guys that, were physical... guys that were lunch pail runners. It's a little different when we're talking about Omarion Hampton. This is a guy who can, if he gets through, he can take it to the house because he's also fast.
Chargers taking Omarion Hampton?
I can't even tell you, I watched a ton of North Carolina games, and I know you did because we used to rock that uniform. You and I have talked about this on air and off air, just how dangerous he can be. Is there that special trait that you would point to as to why Hampton deserves to be a first-round running back?
Oh, I would say just the physicality and toughness, just a competitive stamina. That he shows. This is a guy that is a workhorse runner and all-day sucker. When you talk to the people at Carolina, talking to Natron Means, who played for the Chargers, Pro Bowl at the Chargers, he talked about, man, this dude, we didn't do him justice in terms of giving him the ball enough. The more he touches it, the better he gets.
They really took the whole 10 minutes. That's ridiculous.
That would really appeal to Jim Harbaugh and what they're building.
They really took the whole 10 minutes.
Which is wild if that's the case, because I don't remember what the exact offensive split was, but my God, he was carrying the load. I mean, literally.
He was the only thing. He was the only offensive weapon they had in back-to-back.
Dude, can the Giants make a move,
seasons.
Bro? Please.
You see the contact balance. You see the balance and body control. And look, I love Ashton Jeanty, but I felt like Omarion Hampton was a lot closer to him than farther away for him and the rest of the pack.
Yeah, the only other pushback that I would throw here, Najee Harris certainly comes to mind as one of those additions. I'll throw on Mike Williams, too, sort of in that mix when we talk about some of these offensive weapons. So maybe it is truly on the defensive side.
It could be Will Johnson. They do have some different directions they can go. That's why I think right now this is a pretty intriguing pick because you have positions of need that line up with players with talent at those positions of need. You hate having a position of need and then you have to overreach. We've seen that a couple times, I think, in today's draft. But when you look at the needs for the Chargers, it's nice to have priority positions of need where the board just lines up perfectly for you. And that typically happens later in the first round than earlier in the first round. And you have a little bit more mobility if you want to slide up or down the draft once you get past number 20.
Do you think there was frustration in the Chargers draft room when Loveland and Warren get taken off the board?
No, I think, look, you calm and cool. You have other plans. Because they're so far down the board, they knew they couldn't control what was going to happen in front of them. You would love for one of those guys to do it. But at the end of the day, you set your board, and the best players that are available at that pick,
you feel confident about those guys being really good key contributors for your squad.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks here, it felt like Matthew Golden might be the first wide receiver taken off the board. We've seen now 2 taken ahead of him. We'll find out if that's going to be the pick. It's the Los Angeles Chargers with the selection.
Come on, hurry up, hurry up. I'm gonna start searching on Twitter, so I see anything Giants related, man. Come on, bro. Tell me they're really not trying to trade up, bro.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion
There he is, finally,
Hampton,
bro.
running back, North Carolina.
No, exactly how I called it.
I mean, exactly how you called it. I mean, look, he goes from the Carolina Blue to the Powder Blues, and they have to be excited for the Chargers. If you're the Chargers, you have to be excited because now you really get a workhorse runner. But not only that, you have an opportunity to put him and Najee Harris in the backfield and do it. We can talk about the explosive size, the physicality. He has shown that he can run through contact. He has the balance, the body control, the burst, the finish runs with violence. And then you have documented proof that this guy can get it done. As the league is kind of cycling back to being a running league where you run the football and you have multiple backs that can tote the load, this combination of Hampton and Najee Harris certainly helps him. I like the jersey.
I like this pick. They didn't have to take the whole damn 10 minutes, though, bro.
He's a human car crash when you watch him run. Like, all gas, no brakes was that phrase was made specifically for Omarion Hampton.
Apparently, the Giants
when
pushing hard to come up.
There are times where he's not even really elusive. He'll give you some early elusiveness, and then he hits the gas. And if you're there, you're there. There's going to be a collision. And if you're not there, it's probably best for you that you weren't there. That's how he runs. I mean, he runs like a very, I do worry from a durability standpoint because he took some of the. I don't know that I've ever seen a running back take that many shots. He was flipped over a couple of times. There are times he jumps in the air, tries to jump over people and gets hammered, and he doesn't matter. He doesn't miss games.
Make a move,
he has like 5% body fat.
Trade back in now.
He's built like just a machine.
Running out of time.
And he runs with a tremendous amount of violence and anger. And I love watching it. I do wonder, though, Bucky, maybe on the next level, you got to learn when to maybe elude a hit and not take on quite so much contact.
Yeah, he has to do that. He has to learn how to get out of it. But, I mean, look, even in 8th grade, he was able to do it. Physical runner. Look, man, you start showing those traits early. You start showing the traits. Look, if you put it in the paint when you're 8, 9 years old, you're going to do it in high school. You do it in high school, you do it in college. Like, this is a dude who is always...
Packers getting trade calls similar to the Chargers at 22. Let's go. Like Come on. Please, one of them be the Giants trading up with either Packers or Chargers, bro. Please,
the Green Bay Packers, by the way, are on the clock right now. I just want to throw this out there. A couple minutes ago, before the Chargers made their selection, Ian Rappaport, our NFL media insider, saying on air that the Chargers were taking some calls from teams that were trying to move into that selection. Man. I don't know what that means. I'm going to put you guys on the spot and speculate. Do you think there was a team that was trying to find one of these quarterbacks? No? Okay. Do you think it was for
maybe
Hampton?
Texans looking for a guard, trying to make sure they keep their guard. I think the Texans are in good shape for potentially Donovan Jackson. Would be interesting if the Rams went up there because, like I said, I've heard Omarion Hampton was a potential consideration for them. So I don't know. Might have been the Rams looking. You never know. Detroit needs a pass rusher. Maybe there's a rusher on the board that Detroit loves. Could it have been a quarterback? Possibly, but I don't think so. There's really no need to jump these other teams for a quarterback. It wouldn't make sense really to trade it for a quarterback at this time.
Yeah, and by the way, so once again, Ian Rappaport staying busy on draft day as he always does.
Because Trader Nick may be at it, looking to grab Donovan Jackson. The Texans need a guard.
Okay, so just once again, just something to keep an eye out for because the Chargers, and you guys see the clock there as you're watching Draft Center, 4:10, 4:09. I happened to notice, I was like, man, how come we're not going to Green Bay here with this Chargers pick? They took that thing all the way down to the wire. Something tells me maybe we see that again with Green Bay. Bucky, you had on your latest mock for the Green Bay Packers, Will Johnson as the selection here for them.
He'd be a great pick for them because he's a see-ball, get-ball defender, meaning he is terrific playing off, reading the quarterback, reading routes, jumping routes, and doing things. Jeff Hafley for the Green Bay Packers. They want to bring pressure, but they want to make sure that they can play the ball from off. To me, he's a nice fit there.
Can Giants trade up, bro? They give me
without that time, I just know how the Green Bay Packers traditionally operate. It is hard to take a player when they don't have that 40 time on.
Yeah, that's awfully tough, and they like guys that can run, and you gotta hit a certain mark, I think, for the most part, and that's the concern for Will Johnson. Will Johnson could be in for a long slide right now because he didn't run, and there's a knee, there was questions about a knee. People don't have a 40-ton on him. There were questions about how he did run, and he never ended up answering those questions. I had Matthew Golden there in my final mock draft to 4.0, and that's a need for them. They need quarterback.
Whoa!
Well,
are you talking about the Packers in the first round wide receiver?
Well, that's
there are things that we know don't happen.
I know. And I did, when I went back and turned my last one in, I put Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky because they do draft cornerbacks.
Now that I can get on board with. Like see, that makes more sense. When you talk about cornerbacks and those things, but more like no wide receivers in the first round. Like that, it's not what we just don't do.
And
that.
it is a good room. It's a good young room, right? I mean, we've been talking about
it's not a good wide receiver draft though.
Yeah.
And you need a wide. Yeah, but I don't think they're crazy about all the drops. It's an inconsistent wide receiver room. You got a lot of money in Jordan Love. At some point, they're going to have to address wide receiver. If it's not the first round, and Bucky's right. I mean, if they don't do it, they don't do it.
Yeah.
But they better do it at some point in this draft. But they really need corner. Max Hairston is on the board from Kentucky, speedster. You don't know what's going to go on with Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
Corner would make a lot of sense here.
Was just about to bring up the Alexander equation because we've heard some buzz and maybe not long for Green Bay. We obviously need to find out if that is the case. And Bucky, I felt like as we were doing Mock Draft Live, you had slotted corners there and referenced that being potentially the reason why. Now, who knows which direction they go? We got $130 or so before we actually go and find out. But there was Xavier McKinney, another guy in that secondary that performed pretty well. Giants, of course, probably not thrilled that they let him go and walk because of how productive he was. But once again, if you had to hypothesize here, still corner for you?
I think so, man. I think, look, the Jair Alexander conversation is real for them in terms of what are they going to do with him. There were a fallout at the end of the season. Look, they didn't play with him at the end, and I think they would like to find someone that can replace him and get better not only in terms of on the field, but just the chemistry and connectivity in the locker room. So if they can find a cornerback that fits what they want to do, I absolutely believe the Green Bay Packers will make that move.
Looking, by the way, I just was able to go through a research packet very quickly. Packers haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round since
Javon Walker.
70.
Yeah, 2002.
It's not what it's done.
Look at this guy.
It's not what it's done. Like, there's a thing when you walk in there, they say, hey, we're not taking wide receivers early. It's the collective. It's development. Second, third round is always the switch.
Were you in that? You were in the building.
I just want to know if you had that up or if that was just a poll.
Okay. You were in the building with Ron Wolf, right?
Yes.
What was that conversation like?
Well, I mean, they've always felt like they could develop those guys. If you have an elite level quarterback, the elite level quarterback can elevate the performance of the playmakers on the outside. And they had so much success in the second and third round. I can go all the way back to when I was there. Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman. You go back to like James Jones was taken in that round. Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, on and on and on. They've been able to find those guys in those rounds. Devontae Adams, I mean, they just continue to find those guys in those second and third rounds. That's
true.
You know what you're doing. You know what you're looking for. You can go buy a used car at the lot.
Giants are trying to get back into the first round for Josina Anderson.
Come
on, bro.
Well, history says no.
It's not even in the stratosphere. We're not even having a conversation about wideouts.
You're right. All right. Look, and there's questions here about the secondary. Maybe the host city.
Please let it be a wide receiver.
You think so?
Please let it be a wide receiver. No,
awesome.
I don't. I think it's Max Hairston, but we'll see.
Come on, Giants. Trade back in, bro. Please,
okay, bro. Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers president and CEO,
Eagles,
Mark Murphy.
I promise whoever the Eagles want to get, at 32 will be there at the second pick in the second round.
How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable?
Come on, Eagles. Please, bro. Please, Eagles.
Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here.
Please, man. They're going to take Golden.
On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? Yes. We also have the best owners in the NFL.
Can you hurry up,
And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver.
Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
Great pick. Great pick.
As you said, history will tell us it is not going to be a wide receiver.
I mean, history, but outliers happen evidently. I mean, who knows? I was playing the odds. We said 2002. This, to me, though, is
great right
really
there,
about them looking at their room and saying, what don't we have in the room?
It's not good enough.
We're not scoring enough points. We're not putting big points on the field and on the board. And so Matthew Golden gives them a speed receiver, but someone who's a route runner. And after all these years and trying to find like a true number one, you heard Josh Jacobs, top running back, tell them, hey, man, we need a number one receiver right here. I got all these loaded boxes because no one respects what we have on the outside. He didn't say that, but he said it without saying it. And so Matthew Golden is like I wouldn't call him a number one. He's kind of a hybrid 1-2.
Yes.
And so he's a guy that, depending on what is there, maybe he can fill the role as a number one some games, but he's more comfortable as that vertical stretch guy that is really best cast to be a number 2 receiver.
You know, I think when you give as much money to your quarterback as you're giving him these days, you give that much money to these quarterbacks, you have to protect your investment, not just on the offensive line, but with talent around them. Sure. Now, if they elevate, the old school used to be you elevate, right? With Aaron Rodgers, with Brett Favre, they could elevate the Robert Brooks. They could elevate all those wide. I mean, they had great. Bucky named them. Jordy Nelson, all the great wide receivers that came through there. But now, when you think about it, Lamar Jackson, you had to get some guys around.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a great example of that. We're sitting there looking at Buffalo. You know, Buffalo may look at a wide receiver at some point early on. You got to get stuff around your expensive quarterbacks. You just have to, because you got too much money invested in it. And I think Matthew Golden, I watched him at University of Houston. He was a good wide receiver, a 4-star receiver who came to Dana Holgerson's Houston Cougars. He was a good wide receiver at Houston. The guy I saw at Texas was much better. He's ascending talent. He's got very good ball skills. He's a very good ball tracker. You'll see him in all these highlights that we have. He tracks the ball exceptionally well. But he made big play after big play for the Longhorns in big game after big game. And it got to where Quinn Ewers, his quarterback, just said, I'm going to throw it to Matthew Golden because I know he's going to make a play. And I think that, you know, here's some of that ball tracking I talked about. You know, there is certain guys who are on the come up. And I think that's what Matthew Golden is. He's on the come up. I do think he's more of a wide receiver 2, as Bucky mentioned. I don't think there's a true wide receiver 1 in this draft. But I think Golden is one of those guys that is going to hit the ground running in Green Bay.
Yeah, he's going to hit the ground running. Here's what we say, like in Green Bay, forever, they've always kind of been more about the collective, more so than having an individual guy. Even when Devontae Adams was there, he had to kind of earn the rite of passage to be the number 1 receiver. With Matthew Golden and some of the guys that they have there, he'll come in as the number 1, but they won't hand him the wide receiver 1 role. He's going to have to earn it, and through his playmaking, I think he certainly will succeed in that role.
Yeah, I think both of you guys touched on something. I had a conversation with David Carr at the end of the regular season. We were talking about Green Bay, and I said, hey, what's that thing that you think that could help a Jordan Love? And I think it speaks to what both you guys touched on. Downfield, playmaker, explosive guy. He said, I don't know if they have that right now. And to get a speedster like Matthew Golden, it feels like this is a good fit. Is there a comp for him, by the way, before we start talking Minnesota?
My Matthew Golden comp, I got to see who I had for Matthew Golden. I'm trying to remember. I don't do comps for all the players. My comp for Matthew Golden was
trying to trade with the Packers,
Chris
but I
Olave.
guess they couldn't. I think
smooth.
Eagles
Yeah, that's the first thing. Speed, smooth, ball skills. Chris Olave was the guy I saw on tape.
It's really hard to find a speedster that also has stop-start quickness and true route running ability. And the thing that separated him from most guys in their class is he had that. It is uncommon that you have the burster that can really run the entire route tree.
All right, more on Minnesota here in just a moment, but let's take you back to Green Bay. Matthew Golden, kind of
maybe
cool
we trail
here.
the Rams
Host
at
City,
26.
Green Bay Packers, they got a new wide receiver.
Green Bay, it's time, baby. Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to educate you, Lynn. You got to know, you got to do your research. They don't go break it down on Green Bay on 3. It's go, pack, go.
Yeah.
If he's going to do that, like, he has to know host city. He has to know how to get down. Yeah. Next time he grabs the mic,
Murphy had to get to him. And you got to tell him that before he gets
go,
somebody.
Pack, go. He has to understand what the lay of the land is.
All right, we'll take you back to Green Bay in just a moment here. Just want to throw this out there. Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Eagles, and not a surprise here, Howard Roseman usually is working the phones, trying to trade up. So there might be a player. Get you.
Well, I know what it's not. It ain't a quarterback.
Yeah, seriously, they're good on that front. Wheels are turning. Trust me, I won't ask you about cute quarterbacks until we get one drafted. Let's get you back to Green Bay here with a Minnesota Vikings team that made some huge jumps, 14-3 last season.
Oh my God.
Quarterback, it's going to be J.J. McCarthy running the show.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's happening!
24th pick.
It's happening.
In the 2025 NFL Draft.
Rams,
the Minnesota Vikings.
Adam Schefter, Andy Rappaport. Rams trading with
Donovan
the Giants. Giants are on the clock.
Guard, Ohio State.
That's why Houston.
Yeah, I swear to God. No, look.
It was a danger zone for Houston. The last of the guards went off the board, and now.
Well, there's a
has
trade.
It been announced?
Yeah, look, it is out there. I'll just throw this. The Giants have traded back into the first
Oh my
round.
God! Giants are on the clock again! Sador time! Sador time!
Specifically, I know he's a guy that you like.
No, I like him a lot. I think he's a really good guard. He played tackle when Josh Simmons got hurt, and then the backup tackle got hurt. He switched from left guard to left tackle and held up very, very well. This is a heartbreaker for the Texans because this is a good football player right here, and I like what Minnesota did. He's got the ability to really help with zone scheme, and they run zone scheme. He's very good at getting the backside
My heart
cutoffs.
is beating, bro.
He can get in space
Yo, I
and make
can't
blocks.
take this, bro. My heart
I think
is
he has
beating,
the size
bro.
and strength to be more downhill if you'd like him to do that, but that's not really Minnesota's thing. He's got that experience as a tackle, so you bring that, at guard, his natural position. He's going to be a better pass protector there. So this is really this is a good pick for them. And the Giants, it was going to be a race between the Giants and the Saints potentially to get up there. And we may have our second quarterback. Finally for you. For you, Yan, we get a quarterback potentially coming up.
I just happened to see, and we flashed it very quickly, Jackson Dart on a phone. Look, that could have been a great answer. I'm just saying.
We tipped the pick.
I'm literally shaking, bro. I'm literally shaking from the Giants side. Oh my God, we actually traded back in, bro. We actually traded back into the first. We actually traded with the Rams for the first, bro. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. I can't believe this. I can't believe this, bro. I can't believe this, bro. Oh my God. I can't believe this, bro. Wow. Dude, I'm so excited. Shador, this is Shador here, bro. Giants on the clock. What were the full details? Let me see. Giants get picked 25. Texans get number 34. How does this work? I don't know how this works, bro. I'm not sure how this works for me. I'm not sure how it works, but according to Adam Schefter, Giants get picked 25, Texans get picked 34, pick 99, and 2026 third round pick. So I guess it's not with the Rams. I guess it's okay. Giants are on the clock though. my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Dude, Shedeur, we get Shedeur, I will lose my mind, bro. We get Shedeur, I will lose my mind, bro. Please, God, give us Shedeur, bro. Please. Bro, I'm gonna lose my mind, bro. Wow. Bro, I'm literally shaking right now, bro.
Back here on Draft Center, and just to reset, if you're just joining us, the New York Giants, they already made a selection. They got Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick.
I'm shaking,
just
bro.
traded back into the 1st round with the Houston Texans.
I'm shaking,
the Giants
bro.
get the 25th overall selection. The Texans get 34, 99, and a 2026 3rd round. Oh, there's my guy, Mike G. I just saw him upstairs a little while ago before we got out here. So he's obviously working the phones.
Not the Rams.
The speculation, let it just roll here. You got to imagine it's going to be quarterback. And there was already talk about what this team was going to do in the offseason. And maybe it was going to be taking one of those guys with their overall pick.
I'm taking off. I'm putting on Do Not Disturb. I'm putting on Do Not Disturb. I'm putting on Do Not Disturb.
Going to happen in the first round unless they traded back in. What's the pick that makes the most sense?
Please Sanders over Dart,
the state
bro.
of this team?
That's
Please
easy.
Sanders over Dart, bro.
You're talking about the Giants?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you grabbed Abdul Carter. You did the right thing. You take the best on the board.
I almost turned off the stream
and it was a matter of time before the Saints or the Browns or the Giants came back into the first round and got a quarterback. It was just a question of who was going to be the quarterback. Was it going to be Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart? Or
someone hand me a ventilator, bro. Someone hand me oxygen, please.
It could have been
not Milroe,
a quarterback like that. Or Milroe. Or Milroe. But I think, Dart is the guy that I've heard that the Giants really liked. That Brian Daboll likes Dart. So this is not a huge shocker to me. It was a matter of which team would get up there first who really liked whatever quarterback the most.
What are the traits that fit for either one of these guys, if it's Sanders or Jackson Dart, with what Brian Daboll on this offense wants to do?
Okay, so the comparison to Jackson Dart has been Jalen Hurts. Well, Brian Daboll's most success has been with athletic quarterbacks.
I can't believe we actually traded back into the first, bro. I thought we traded with the Rams, but apparently it was the Texans. But I can't. Oh my God, I'm not checking anything. I'm not touching my phones. What's up, vibes? I can't believe this, bro.
On offense, so to me,
come on, Shedeur, please, bro. Please, Shedeur. Jackson Dart is also very good.
I watched a whole lot of Ole Miss, and I watched a whole lot of Jackson Dart when he was at SC.
Because think about it. Browns have the pick in front of us. They're not going to take Jackson Dart. They're favored to take Shedeur. Why would we trade up ahead of the Browns?
Also something we haven't seen from
for Jackson Dart. We would not trade up for Jackson Dart. It's clearly Shedeur right here. It has to be Shedeur right here, bro. It has to be Shedeur right here.
Let's head to Green Bay and find out who it is.
It has to be Shedeur right here. It has to be. Oh my God, my heart, bro. I can't do this, bro. I can't do this, bro.
The Houston Texans have traded the 25th pick to the New York Giants. With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi.
You guys had said something in your observation of Cam Ward when we talked about him as the #1 overall pick. You said, and it wasn't necessarily about his physical gifts. You said there's a little bit of, and I would probably use maybe a word that's not appropriate for TV, so I won't go there. But he's got that like moxie, maybe, and
you could have
gone. Yeah, I can say swag. Jackson Dart's got a whole lot of that. I saw a ton of that.
Why trade up for Dart? Browns are not going to take Dart.
He got a bunch of swag, and if you've seen him, he's in the clothes, he's in all that. Like his swag comes out that way, but it also comes out on the field. when you talk to the Ole Miss players, and we had a bunch of them come through, they talk about how they love the competitiveness, the dog that he displayed. And I would say when you watch the tape, it's the athleticism, it's the big arm talent, and it's the big play hunting that he displays. This dude goes for the big plays. He goes for the juggler. And if you are a quarterback guru, like a Brian Daboll, and you've had success with a Josh Allen type, he's not Josh Allen, but he gives you some of those Josh Allen vibes in terms of his athleticism, his playmaking ability. That is why you go in on Jackson Dart and bring him to New York. You think that you can recreate what you once had in Buffalo. And remember, Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll saw what Josh Allen was able to do in Buffalo. That's why they may have gone for Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders or some of the other guys that were on the board.
You know, I'm not going to run from it. I just, this is a player that
obviously
I had as a third round.
That's not what I fucking wanted.
My grade is more of a third round. Now, I expected him to potentially go in the first. I thought he could go in the second, although most quarterbacks tend to go either in the first or the third. Not a lot of second-round quarterbacks over the last 10 years, only 6. Jackson Dart, what concerns me is the weather won't be a factor for a little while. He's got to really work to push the ball. He does not have a natural arm. He can be a little inconsistent when it comes to throwing with anticipation, getting through reads. I think the Ole Miss offense really simplifies a lot for the quarterback, and I think it makes it easier for him. And these are all things that gave me pause when I'm watching tape. I'm like, but how does he project? How does this Ole Miss tape project to the pros? And I really struggled with it. Now, what I like about him, he's very tough. I think he has a lot of natural confidence and swagger, as both of you have alluded to. And he's a very accurate quarterback. When he has to dial up the throws, we saw this at Combine, he really has to put a lot into his throws when he wants to drive it. But he doesn't lose his accuracy. And sometimes a lot of players will. The footwork can get a little bit lazy on him, but he can make throws at tough arm angles. Bucky referenced that with the Josh Allen stuff. So there's things to really like here. I think he needs to be, you see that arm, it's just not a natural big arm when players are near his feet and he can't really sit and drive through the ball. There's not going to be a lot of zip on the ball. So I think he needs to be in an offense that allows him some play action. Take his shots down the field off of play action, and then play some ball control. And I don't know if that's kind of Daboll's MO or not, but I think he needs ball control with play action shots down the field. I don't think he's a guy that you want really trying to explore the second and third level just with arm talent. I don't think that's who he is.
No, so the one thing that I would say is the job that Brian Daboll did with Danny Dimes should give us kind of like a sneak peek in what he could do with Jackson Dart. Remember, when Danny Dimes was the quarterback, like they simplified some things. They utilized the running game, they utilized his legs to really maximize what they could do on offense. Jackson Dart has some traits that you can use in that vein. So even if it gets a little hairy for him making reads and those things, Daboll has shown an ability to take that talent and find a way to make it work for that offense.
Okay, so we had waited for a trade to happen. We got one, and now we had a second one with the Giants, and now we have a third in the first round. Mike Garafolo working the phones. Here we go. The Falcons trade 46, 242. And a first rounder next year for the Rams pick at 26 here and 101. So the Atlanta Falcons clearly like a guy. Not exactly sure. They took Jalen Walker a little bit earlier with their first selection. We'll find out who it is right now.
The Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr., defensive end, Tennessee.
You guys had screamed for it a little bit earlier. You said, hey, this team needs to figure out ways to get to the quarterback. We saw that addressed with their first pick at 50 with Jalen Walker, the defensive end out of Georgia. They doubled down. They like Pierce. And they said, you know what? We're not going to be in the back half of the NFL. 31st in sacks last season.
Look, man, this is my second best edge player, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call him. I felt like he was one of the more natural pass rushers in the draft. You saw the first step quickness, the burst, the explosiveness, getting to the quarterback. Look, this dude's get off, his snap count anticipation is off the charts. He's like a cat pouncing on a ball of yarn. Now, the thing that we couldn't talk about the entire process was the unknown, the whispers of character and what this is going to be or whatever. They had to vet him out really well, because if you're going to take him and put him in the mean streets of the ATL, you got to make sure that he's right and he's mature enough to handle it. On the field, He is exactly what they needed coming off the edge.
So maybe they
relentless, explosive, big play producer. I like it. It's just a matter of the whispers, the character concerns that people put out there without really saying it.
What are you going to do with more time on your hands, more money in your pocket,
and more streets,
and more access? And it's a real question. You have to ask that about every single player that you draft. And James Pierce, that's the concern on him. The football, not the concern. James Pierce is a linear rusher who can get up the field and impact the pocket.
Here's what we can tell you. The Atlanta Falcons are a better team now because of what they've done in the first round. And the Giants,
they attacked it,
have their future quarterback.
No, we fucking don't, bro. Can't even trade it up to take fucking guard, bro. Yeah. No, give me. Dude, they're just making being a Giants fan so fucking hard at this point, bro.
Back here on Draft Center, Lance Erline, Bucky Brooks, and Mike Am with you, the fans in Baltimore. Reason for optimism. This team has continued to be one of the premier squads in the NFL. You can make an argument that the roster might be the best in the league, considering some of the pieces that they have on offense. Time to get fired up, though, and trying to figure out who this selection is going to be. We've seen a flurry of moves, and just in case you're just joining us, the Giants and Falcons trading back into the first round with the last two picks. The Giants taking quarterback Jackson Dart, the Atlanta Falcons, James Pierce, the defensive end out of Tennessee. Baltimore Ravens, what do you like?
A couple different big needs I want to bring up. Safety. So they need one so Kyle Hamilton can come forward. That could be Nick Emmanwori, or that could be Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
An interesting one, though. I remember watching Chuck Smith, the pass rush guru who works with the Ravens now. I was watching him, and I was listening to him talk about Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. Now, everyone's got him in the second round, but there was something you could tell that Chuck Smith, he liked him. And I said, you like him, Chuck? He goes, oh, yeah, he's got some moves. He's a natural rusher. Donovan Ezeruaku, the pass rusher from Boston College, they need rush also. So these are some positions that you could be looking at right now for the I think it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. But Travion Henderson, Bucky brought him up earlier. That's an explosive back. And you talked about Omarion Hampton, right, with the Ravens, how that would have been an interesting
like
selection.
the Baltimore Ravens typically are a team that just look at the board and like, oh, who's the best player? Oh, that's a good player. Let's take him. And so that's the thing. So when we talk about pass rush and all those things, like where do they go? Do they kind of bypass some of their needs to go get a great player that's available?
And I have my best available on the board that we see here is Mike Green. And Mike Green's also a rusher. I mean,
that feels like one of those things.
And now, I will give you an old tip. Ozzie Newsome taught me a long time ago, the one thing that translates success in the National Football League is sack production. It translates. Years ago, they got Terrell Suggs. He didn't run great, this and that. They're like, yeah, but he had 44 sacks at Arizona State. We're taking him. And he became a Hall of Fame caliber player. Maybe Mike Green gives them that sack production that they desperately need.
Looking at some of these numbers here, I've said it so many darn times, 17 sacks led the country with those.
24 tackles for loss.
Now, devil's advocate, hey, Marshall, but hey, the reality is still was able to produce. Let's see who the pick is.
With the 27th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malachi Starks, defensive back, Georgia.
To be fair, I listen to every word you guys say. The problem that I have is I don't always remember who said it. One of you guys just name-checked Starks and said that might be a fit.
I brought him up just because, I mean, that's kind of the chalk here, at least for me in the mock. It was two teams, the Vikings and the Ravens, who really need safety. And when you think about what the Ravens are trying to do, Malachi Starks really fits. I mean, football character, SEC background and pedigree. He can play in the slot if you need him to at nickel, but he can also play on the back end. He's interchangeable, so that allows another interchangeable safety, Kyle Hamilton. You know, he can play down or he can play back. He played well when he played back last year, Kyle Hamilton. It's nice to have two interchangeable safeties because it makes you more dangerous defensively, makes you more varied. But Malachi Starks, if you look at his 2024 tape, Bucky, you see a lot of him playing in the slot, and he's having to guard shiftier route runners. And you see right here, I mean, good ball skills, and that ability is certainly there. He is a really good run defender and tackler. He can get downhill and make tough tackles in space. But when you watch him in 2023, that's where he got to play more split safety. He got to play a more standard safety position, and the tape was even better in 2023. So I think Malachi Starks fits the personality profile of what the Ravens look for, but he also fits the X's and O's of the defense.
One thing about the Baltimore Ravens, they love football players. And when we say that, that's the highest compliment you can give a football player. When you say, hey, he's a football playing Jesse. This is a guy, high IQ, versatile player. He is about his business when he plays in the back end. And I just have this vision of Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton just doing all these creative free snap disguises and making so many plays. And when we went through the process, the reason he was dropped a little bit when it came to Nick Emmanwori is because he was a better athlete. But make no mistake, Starks was a high-level player. And when you dug in the tape, not just last year, but the previous years, he showed up early and often making plays.
And a really remarkable story, because you guys are talking about the athletic nature. He was a five-star kid coming out of high school, ranked as the #1 athlete in the country. And kind of a tough upbringing. You know, the Starks family homeless when Malachi was in 3rd through 6th grade, and yet still figured out some ways to be productive here and make something out of himself in a big way. Obviously was able to play at Georgia. In fact, his first career start picked off Bo Nix. I mean, this is a guy that certainly brings a ton to the table. And once again, it does feel like a really good fit from the Ravens' perspective.
You know, it's that overcoming adversity. Sometimes that can be played up a little too much on TV networks, things like that. But I can tell you this, NFL teams, they don't mind when you've had adversity in your life and you've overcome it, because it shows that a guy like Malachi Starks, what's happening on the football field is not the end of the world for him. He's going to be able to get through that. He's been through difficult times in his life, and he's got the mental toughness to get through that. And that's why it's important when scouts start looking into the backgrounds of players and they find some difficult times and they find a player who's gotten past those and been able to overcome adversity, because not everyone is tested, and you don't know how you're going to do when you're tested with adversity. And there's plenty of drafted players who come in and haven't faced a lot of adversity, and there's football adversity, there's personal adversity. Malachi Starks has seen both, and he's come out on the other side with flying colors. That's one of the reasons why I think he makes a lot of sense as a Raven, because It's that mental toughness that's dialed into the Ravens players.
You know, Bucky, you did this as a scout, and I know you know pretty much everyone in the NFL. I'm thinking about the end of this first round. The Baltimore Ravens and now the Detroit Lions who are on the clock. 2 teams on the short list, I feel like the last couple seasons, to get to a Super Bowl. Rosters are intact in terms of healthy. They're as good as anyone in the league. How does that change if you're in the front